This is the Date Night Dice Podcast, a podcast mostly about board games.
Probably not.
Hello and welcome to episode number 39 of the Date Night Dice Podcast. I'm Ben.
I'm Em.
And I'm Ken.
Whoa! Yeah, I've been watching some X-Files or what?
Yeah. Oh, I should have had like big boobs for people who are not
so
in the chat most of the time. There's an X-Files episode that we love.
It's a great one. The
That just makes it sound like you guys love. You're like big boobs happened.
It's about the Joyzy Devil episode, season 1, episode 5 or 7.
Go check it out.
Remember.
We really need to watch that.
Every time you talk about X-Files, it just makes me think of Greys. I just want to talk about Greys.
There's not enough Greys in it. There's not enough Greys.
I loved last night we were playing the King's Dilemma, which is a legacy board game, and there's people called the Ashen ones who have to eat ash bread, and I just kept calling them the Greys.
But no one got it.
Turns out this would be major spoilers for the game, so I'm not going to say it, but the storyline of the Greys gets really, really crazy.
Whoa, cool.
Yeah. No, not in a cool way. Sort of in a creepy, over, like, you are really, really bad people sort of way.
They turn into the Greys.
If you know what Damani from the Wheel of Time are, that gives you a hint as to what happens to the Greys.
I like how you're playing this weird hint. Okay.
I don't know. What do we got going on today? I am excited to record the podcast. I think it's almost like, because we do the normal show every 3 weeks now, it's like by the time it comes around, I'm champing at the bit. Like I want to get in there. I want to sink my teeth into a juicy podcast.
Yeah, let it out.
I want you guys to tell this. I look forward to this moment for you to tell me what's going on.
Well, yesterday the dishwasher broke.
All right, that's not very exciting.
Oh, no, that's right.
Well, and then we woke up and there was like a puddle in the mudroom because the roof was leaking.
That's true, yes.
Oh, no.
And it's one of those where when something happens, when you own the house, like everything happens. So now I'm just waiting for the one more. It's always threes, right?
The garage is going to explode. I don't know.
That actually could. Every time I open or close that garage, I like huddle to the side because I'm worried it's going to kill me.
I finally fixed what was causing that. So a long time ago.
So I don't need to be like secret agent anymore. This
garage door uses those big long springs to help lift it up because it's it's a 2-car door. It's very wide and just extremely heavy. At one point in time, like a spring broke off and like smashed the supports that hold up the door and all that stuff.
Oh, wow.
I put new springs on and there's cables.
I still can't believe you put the springs on yourself.
That's why I was always scared.
There's no tension on the springs when the door's up. So you can hook it all up.
Is that right? How do you get up there?
Just a ladder.
Yeah, ours
but the door is in the way.
It's on the sides. It's not like the kind
on the side.
It's not the kind you're thinking of, where the spring is above the door. It is.
Yeah.
It's like on each side.
It's much simpler. Imagine like giant trampoline springs connected to the top of the door. That when it goes down,
that's right. It's for like a manual garage. That's what those are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So those are like the helper springs for our garage door opener.
I see.
Anyway, I didn't mean to spend so much time on this, but I had
let's dig in.
I had ran the guide wires that go in the inside of the springs to keep them in a straight line. I had ran it in the wrong way through the coupling that holds the spring on, and I finally found out that it was all sticking because it was not on the side where it would run smooth. It was underneath, and the cable had actually been wearing through.
It was a ticking time bomb.
Yeah, like the joint. It was almost like all the way through it.
That's what I'm saying.
But it would catch on that, and it would get stuck, and then it would go, and then it would come off the pulleys.
There was a few times. I think the first time it happened, I was in the garage, and I don't know what. I was in front of the car doing something, and all of a sudden a chunk of wood for what they're hooked up to, like flew at the back and hit next to me, like in the wall. And I'm like, well, what was that?
Very dangerous.
Little did I know I almost died, but yeah.
I'm very scared of that garage door.
That's what I'm saying. I like stay in the car and wait.
There are people you can hire to fix that for you if you ever
no.
I've never hired anybody for anything, and I ain't.
Wow.
And we should.
Maybe I should. Maybe I should. Actually, we hired people to do that wall in our house. That was the first, but that's a big construction project. I need to get over the hump of actually paying people to fix things. I have never done that, and I probably should.
You just don't fix them, though. You act like you're doing it. I feel like you do sometimes, but a lot of times
I'm
it's
talking
like
fixing the dishwasher, fixing the stove, fixing the furnace. Like I typically do all that stuff.
Yeah.
But this time, so the dishwasher was an electrical problem. It just normally you close the door and the control panel lights up and you say start. And this time
just said no.
Nothing. So I checked the outlet. The outlet works. From the outlet, the cord comes in into a junction box. Very simple. Like that. I looked in there, it was all fine. So what's broken?
It's the board, something on the board in the dishwasher, right?
Probably, right? So,
and I'll tell you, we've had, because ours only works sometimes. You have to turn it on, turn it off, turn it on, turn it off, unplug it, let it sit for 30 seconds, plug it in. And I had somebody come out, and he's like, oh no, it's the board. And they're not going to pinpoint what's wrong with the board. They'll just replace the board. And the board is $400 and labor's $200. So just buy a new dishwasher.
Yeah. Well, that was exactly it.
Yeah.
Because I think we could have bought one online for pretty cheap, but we're like, what if it isn't the board? And then we just spent 10% of a new dish, or whatever.
Yeah, I dug my way all the way down to the board.
Yeah. To put it in there.
Oh, you did? Wow.
I was at the board and I got the part number off of it and looked it up, and it was $70 after shipping to get a new one.
Nice.
But I don't know that it's the board.
I don't know if that's
I think it may be the board, but it could be the switch. It could be a broke wire
be the panel.
Somewhere.
Could be just that your panel isn't,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. And I was like, well, I've already replaced the circulation pump on this dishwasher because the motor blew up. And I was like, let's just get a new one. I don't want to deal with this. I didn't want to spend almost $100 and then have the board show up and be like, nope, wasn't the board.
Then what? Exactly.
Yeah, I get it.
But
I get it.
So I don't know. I'm waiting for one other thing to happen.
Yeah.
But it's not horrible. We can, hand wash dishes. I was thinking back when COVID first started and our dryer broke. But it was winter time and it was COVID, so no one was delivering or everyone was scared of everything. And that's when we had to try to hang dry things during winter in our basement, which is already cold.
Yeah.
And it was anything next to the one heater would be the only dry thing, and you'd kind of move it down the line.
Oh,
and
no.
that was way worse than a dishwasher. So
I think what happened there? A tumbleweed of dog hair had built up underneath this gas. This is a gas dryer, so it has a flame somewhere. Yeah, and it was just spewing soot into the clothes.
Sick.
Burnt dog hair soot, though.
I tell you what, I spent so much time trying to figure out how to open up that dryer, and I never could figure it out. I never figured it out. You're not
supposed to get in there.
I rolled it around every side trying to figure out how to get in there to clean it out, and I could never figure it out, so we bought a new one.
Well, I mean, gosh, all it is a burner, a motor, and a fan. Right?
Yeah.
There's
not
very
much to
few
it.
components to it, but fun stuff. Anyway, this is appliance talk.
Fun,
I know. I could go all day.
Brought to you by
water heater doesn't work.
Brought to you by Barofka's appliance outlet.
I wish. Can someone sponsor us?
Yeah, right. Oh well.
But you guys had the Invitational last weekend.
That's a big deal. Yeah, we
2
did.
Weeks.
It was
coming up on 2 weeks ago.
2 weekends ago.
Yeah.
It was the 5th.
I mean, because of the amount of work that went into preparing for it, it's a big deal that we're past it, I think, because so much of my life was centered around preparing for this event.
So how'd it go?
It's about the journey, and not about the destination.
Okay, let's go over to Ken. Ken, how'd it go for you?
This is my journey, and I was there to tell my truth. And I think we were both hoping for a little bit better than we did. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. It's fun. It's a check-in. It's the yearly check-in.
Yeah,
and keeps you focused particularly through the hardest months of the year in terms of
That's true.
doing something to work out. But it was fun. Gage, Evan, we had 4 people at least live.
Yeah.
Yep.
We had a couple submissions.
Yes, Sam from the Instagram account, the McMeeples, submitted all 3 lifts, and he put up some very impressive numbers.
He did good. I heard both of you guys say, like, you know, if he was hanging out with you kind of thing, you think he could go higher.
Oh,
like,
easy.
he did everything really easy.
And this is not a critique or a bad thing. He had more in the tank.
Easy.
If you're listening, push harder, man. You had those so easy.
Yeah,
Looked
for
great.
sure.
Looked great.
I mean, I was hoping for more on the day of the competition, but that's the whole point of it, is simulating a competition. It's not getting as strong as you can and then like PRing each lift at some point in there and being like,
That's true.
This is my. It's what would it be like to try to do a powerlifting competition? Actually, and normally those go over a lot longer period of time.
Yes,
we do it in about an hour
fast.
and a half.
Yeah.
And what numbers could you put up, right? So I really wanted to hit 1,300 as a total, and I had certain numbers I had to hit to get there, and I really, really thought I had it for sure. So last year's total was 1,225. That was a 415 squat, a 325 bench, and I asterisked the bench because my bench before was less strict. So it was like bounce off the chest, butt off the bench.
Oh, okay.
You know, it was like the 325.
Like when you can't move your feet certain way, like all that stuff.
You're gonna have your butt. What are the rules?
Your butt has to stay in contact. Yeah, whatever. So this year I was more strict. It had to be a paused press, and my butt had to stay on the bench. So those two numbers, they're not necessarily equivalent. I did a 485 deadlift at last year. So this year's numbers was 435 squat, 315 bench. But again, that was a paused bench following the rules. And that's probably the thing I'm the most proud of, is a real deal 3 plates, 315 bench out of a pause, and a 505 deadlift. So that is a total of 1255. Not quite my 1,300 goal, but still very fantastic numbers.
Looking, I thought you got the same thing, but you just like flip-flopped a couple of numbers.
The thing was, the 315 was the 315. I tried for 325, and it was never going to happen. Like, the 315 was the max. That's definitely for sure. But 435 squat moved like... But like great. It was so fast. I mean, there was no sticking point at all. I just squatted down and up. I said, "Oh my gosh, I have never felt or been as strong as I was 2 Saturdays ago. With all the work I put in, and then the prep up to that Saturday, I actually felt like I did a good prep this time, a good taper, and then like what I did leading up to it. I felt like it all made sense, and it showed. I have never squatted 435 like that. Like, I had just failed a 435 recently before that. It moved super quick. And I was feeling very confident. So I went to 450.
Ah, that's what it was.
And I don't know. I watched the replay, and it's like I didn't try. You know, I don't know.
Yeah.
I was in my own head, I think, a little bit.
Well, that's a big number.
It always happens, yeah.
Now, your squat, though, Ken, you were...
what'd you do, Ken?
You were crushing PRs left and right.
There's something about these meets and squats that keep my squat alive. I don't know what it is, because we went into last year, my PR on squat was 325. I squatted 355. And then when we got to this year, my PR was 375 and I squatted 385. It's very unusual to PR in a meet
to bump it
like
up.
this, right?
Yeah, right.
So
it was,
and when I think about it, it's like, okay, so that squat went up 60 pounds in 1 year in theory, but the rest of my numbers haven't moved at all. My deadlift didn't move at all. It's 415 still. And my bench hasn't moved for a myriad of reasons at 275. But like you, I wanted to get to 1100.
Yeah.
And I'm at 1075. Right.
Oh, man.
On that day. Yeah.
Okay.
If you add up all my my PRs, I eke over it, but in a meet setting, wanted to hit that 1100.
Right. Right, that's the thing. You know, like I'm sure I could eke out a 1300 if I set up for each of the lifts right now with the strength I'm at. Maybe I could get there. But that's not the challenge, right?
No.
It's to do it on the day.
Yeah. You can run a lot of fast miles if you take one each day, but when you have to run 7 in a row, it's a different beast. So
you're exactly
right. But it was a ton of fun. I mean, don't get me wrong.
Totally agree. I did think I was going to make up for it on the deadlift because when we were warming up, the 435 was my last warm up deadlift, and it was like, I mean, it went max. So fast. Jeez. It shot off the ground like it was nothing, and then 505 moved quick, and so 505 is my PR deadlift. But the thing is, I've hit 505 probably almost 10 times now.
Yeah.
Oh, you're showing off here.
And I have never hit anything above that.
Yeah.
I cannot get past it. It's
minus 435. I've probably done it maybe 5 or 6 times. Can't get over it. It's just the hump. It's all right. We'll get there.
We'll get there. You know, here we go. Now we got goals for next time, right?
Yeah. But for now, it's running.
That's for sure.
Well, it's been, I mean, you have been running. I was eating like ramen and like candy the other day and just watching you go back and forth outside running. I was like, wow, we are opposite trains right now. Like I was like, fuck this. And I was just eating ramen at like 10 a.m. and like it was
some hot ramen. Ooh.
Yeah, super salty. Like and you were just like outside for like an hour.
I can't believe you're running outside.
Up and down.
It was kind of warm. It was warm the other day.
The one day it was like 45 the other day.
Yeah,
randomly. Yeah. But now it's back to Ice Street because it rained and then everything froze. So it's back to the 2 inches of ice outside, which is a pain in the butt.
I did run outside for a what's the word when you do a fast run? Dang it! It doesn't matter what it's called. It's like running at threshold, a tempo run. And there was a car
run?
A tempo run is when you run at like threshold pace. Yeah. So
I always thought the tempo was like you could go forever. Huh.
Typically that's probably called like a jog or kinda? Something. Huh. Yeah. If you see like tempo, then that's typically talking about like working out at threshold for whatever distance. You know, like maybe 20 seconds below 5K pace or something like that. But there was a car coming towards me, and I went to go run on the shoulder, which was a sheet of ice apparently.
Nice, yeah.
And I did like a somersault right in front of this guy and just rolled into the ditch.
And he honked and kept going, or what?
He probably had a good laugh because I like rolled and popped up and like tried to like play it cool. You know?
I feel like I'd rather just like lay there as if I'm dead to see if they like come help me or something.
Well, you know, here's the interesting thing about the powerlifting competition, and it's not necessarily about how much you weigh, but like it a little bit is like being heavier helps sometimes with the powerlifting stuff. But I got so into the New Year's, like, I need to change my diet a little bit. I need to trim down. And then I had already kind of been thinking about what we were going to do afterwards, that I was starting to sort of lighten up. And I came into this year's Invitational about 14 pounds lighter, or 12 pounds lighter than I was in last year's.
Nice.
So I was like 214, 215 last year, and I was like 202, 203 this year.
Nice.
And I was putting up bigger numbers. So I should be like super happy with that. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's fantastic.
Like I said, I should be.
I should be.
Well, like
inside, I'm screaming at the top of my
I didn't have my goals, but whatever. But the last thing and you guys feel free to chime in or whatever if you want to say anything else about it. But I do want to say that, you know, I kind of joked it's the journey, not the destination. This is the longest strength block I've ever done. It's the strongest I've ever gotten. And I did find that the benefits of that were way more than I anticipated. Like the changes to my body and like the way that like my legs and my back and like getting a strong low back and getting strong glutes and hamstrings and stuff. It just made me feel a lot better. It made me feel a lot younger. It cleared up a lot of the joint problems I was having, making my quads strong.
That's good.
And I've come out of this block with a new like appreciation for strength training that I didn't have before.
I don't know how, but I'm similar. I am done about 10 pounds lighter. My knees don't scream when I get out of bed. And which is great because I was able to move into running a lot faster because the plan was the same last year, which is, well, you just hard stop after we do this. You get into jog or whatever you want to do to trim down a little bit and just get cardiovascular up. But last year, I don't think I worked out for like 4 weeks. But it was cold. That was my excuse.
Yeah.
It's still cold. But I don't know. Something's different this year.
This time you had a plan. Like you're like, oh, I'm going to transition to this afterwards. And I think that's a big point. I was talking to Broad Games Instagram account the other day, and he was like,
that guy. He's great.
Yeah, right. He always makes some very good points. And he was like, isn't it doesn't it hurt to constantly be switching between these two modalities, that's like true. The strength training and the endurance training? Doesn't one hurt the other? And I was like, absolutely. Like when I did this huge block of strength training, I lose that base aerobic endurance, like
absolutely.
For sure. And I see it most in, obviously when I'm working out, like what my heart rate is at to do the same effort, but also just like base heart rate. It's about 10. My resting heart rate is about 10 higher than it was at my best aerobic conditioning.
Oh, well, I can.
And but what I find, even though like strength training hurts endurance and endurance hurts strength training, and you never get great at one, you can get good at both. The bigger thing is you're always getting better at something. And the motivation factor of that keeps me going every day. If because I would burn out. I would plateau and I would burn out.
Yeah.
You say burnout, I would get bored. That for me is the big thing, right? 12-week programs is about as far as I can go on a particular, like, I'm going to run fast, or I'm going to lift heavy, or I'm going to jump high, whatever it is. 12 weeks is the max. And it's like, maybe we should do something else. Yeah. So for me, it makes sense to train that way so that I keep training, which is the real goal.
Yes.
To just keep doing it forever until they throw me in the ground.
It's probably...
or a dumpster, whatever.
Get big, leave a big coffin.
You at the end.
Right.
They're like forcing you in.
Well, like Ben, you and I have talked about this forever, right? There's 3 months in the winter where you get super strong. Then maybe there's 3 months in the spring where you get a little bit fast and lean. Then you got to get 4 foot wide by the 4th of July, which is a real tight, like 2 months.
Yeah, that's
bodybuilding.
Of just tight. Like of shoulders and lats. All you want to do is get width.
Wide. Just width wide and thick. Wide and thick. And then the weird one is post 4th of July, August, September, October. That's the weird one. I don't know. For you, that's probably good biking weather.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have anything that I do in that
period. It's not
period.
Like deathly hot finally.
You get over the hump of the heat of the summer and into the fall, and you go for those long bike rides out by the farms, and there's the animals.
Well, we're
and
right by the farms,
and it's just so relaxing. It's like a little adventure every day.
I should hike during that time. Is what I should do.
Oh that man, I was so excited to hike with Potato this fall. She broke my effing leg. And the beginning of October, I was like, well, these colors are getting great. And then I was stuck. I was so mad. No, I was going to say, though, that it's probably good that you guys switch around this time because this is like that long winters lasting forever depression.
Yes.
Where if you had to, switching it up is probably nice.
Last thing you want to do is grind through the coldest, darkest month of the year, right? You need a break somewhere in there.
It's like someone help me at
finishing with the strength stuff early February really is great timing, quite frankly.
And the nice thing about getting so out of endurance shape is that you get a lot of gains very quickly, and that's very motivating. You know, you come back and every week you're getting better, and you're like, "Wow, this is worthwhile."
Yep.
You know, it's not, "Wow, I keep lifting the same weight every day, and I can't get any stronger for some reason."
All right. Well, speaking of lifting weights, we went shopping. And our main
yes.
goal was trying to find pants for Ben.
That's right.
I have been loving. You had the coolest Levi's crew neck sweatshirt the other day, and then you followed it up with Tracksuit Mafia from the Hawkeye series. Did you guys watch that show?
We didn't.
We haven't watched it yet,
No, there's an actual
I want
Tracksuit
to, but-
Mafia, and it's a bunch of Eastern European guys in
perfect.
Adidas tracksuits with gold chains.
Nice.
And Ben accidentally cosplayed as one.
Emily's birthday present this year was to outfit me with some clothes of her choosing. So
The main thing was pants. You didn't have any pants. And no, it was impossible. We went to a couple places and everything would fit, like maybe in the legs, but be giant in the waist. Or fit in the waist and then they don't fit the legs because, your legs are larger due to,
if it
everything.
fit in the waist, I couldn't get them up to the waist to check that
It
fit.
can't get over your thighs.
Same thing.
Yeah.
It's that dummy fit. It's the wagon.
Yeah, exactly. So we finally went to the Levi's store, and they had like the perfect fitting jeans.
They did. They
and
had some.
khakis.
Yeah.
I'm going to need the jean number. It's usually a 3-digit code starting with a 5.
I told Ben to save the tags
she had me
so
save
we
the
could like
tags.
reorder easily.
Because
so
I used
we
to
will
wear
send
Levi's.
you.
And boy, it was the same thing. It was like you were wearing a belt. Like right
For your
at
thighs.
Yes. Yes. It's like
That's how all the other pants
It
were. at
was
the other
like
store.
such a mess when he came out, and he's like, "Well, I have this option at other stores," and I was like, "Well, that's embarrassing. We
it's
can't.
like
we can't
you
do
got to
that."
hook the pants to like cables on the ceiling to get in.
Yeah, and you just
It
sort of
was
jump
such
in.
a mess.
Yeah.
But the Levi is the way
found
to
some,
go.
huh?
If you have, we'll have to actually post what the fit and everything is.
I think I got
trying to remember what it was.
athletic tapered. Those were the best ones.
you got
Athletic
those, but you
tapered.
also got ones that are called like flex something.
They were both flex.
Were they both?
I want to
Okay.
see if a flex jean stands the test of time because
That's
my
the
assumption
question.
Oh my
is
gosh.
that they are going to wear out.
But this is
They're
what
going to wear out fast.
So
Yeah.
we got 2 pairs of jeans and like a pair of like bluish khakis or something. But they're
right here.
Right away. Oh yeah, you're wearing them. There we go.
541 athletic taper Levi's Flex men's jeans
Yes.
dark wash.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
what I got.
What am I
Wait,
getting?
but right
Look at
away
this, the
Ben
dump
gets
truck.
them, and he's immediately doing squats in them, and I'm like, are
well,
we
that's
trying
how
to?
you know if they're
Yes,
good.
but I do not want to
Check this
push
out.
the limit right away. Stop.
Are you seeing this right now?
But if you
Are you guys
blow
seeing
them
this
out,
right now?
if you blow them out in store, I mean, I found them. Like
Well, that's
Holy
true.
cow.
In store. Okay. Sit down. Stop doing like wide. What's that called? Front relax.
Front relax.
Front
Even though
relaxed.
you're like
that.
stupidly.
Is there such thing as a rear relaxed? Relaxed
I hope.
rear.
But we did
Wow.
find jeans, so I was so
The
happy
model,
about the situation.
Pictures of these jeans are not appealing.
Okay,
I
so
agree.
here's the thing though. When I went online before this to try to figure out what the fit was, every picture looked horrible.
These are awful.
Stupid.
Yeah, so we will send you what Ben got, and then you can just do your size.
Yeah.
It's those. It's the ones he's looking at.
I don't know though because the pictures looked weird.
Yeah, they look bad.
They're
They look like
strange.
It's
they
not how
fit.
they should fit though. Like
Well,
they picked a
whatever.
model who isn't. It's
they don't
something's wrong.
look. Yeah, it's the wrong model, I think.
Yeah.
Because they don't even look like the pants that you're describing.
Yeah.
They're neither athletic nor tapered nor flex nor men's nor jeans.
It's just
They're
a
not even.
women's jeans.
It's a woman in like
Right.
khakis.
It's just a dog. Just a picture of a dog.
But boy, I was so
All
excited
right.
when we
so
got
I'm
there.
gonna I'll keep that up. Maybe I'll
Yeah.
get one.
Yeah, then we got him the tracksuit, which
Nice.
I
Well,
said,
yeah,
well, if you're gonna get the
we're-
pants, you might as well get the top. Like, come
There's
on.
not a problem with there's no problem with the tracksuit. Where did the chain come from?
Oh, that's just Calvin's. He just
Calvin likes
loves
to collect gold,
golden things.
That's right. Wow. I
jewelry,
love that.
gold. He has like I could probably do a full on event like bracelets and rings and like he has a lot.
like I said
What's his-
before. He's like Smog. He just loves.
I was going to say,
he
what's his
wants
middle
a hoard.
initial? Is it S?
Yeah,
It's
No.
for small.
he wants
I
a
wish.
hoard of treasure.
That
That's
is
all
his
he
thing.
wants.
Canard.
He has multiple treasure boxes, and if you open them up, it's legit just filled with like necklaces
treasure.
and rings and treasure just
Yeah.
thrown in that he.
For Christmas, he got a treasure chest,
Yeah.
and it is full of treasure.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Anything he sees that's gold, he'll use his some sort of gift card to get like a gold necklace or some sort of jewel or something.
His favorite. He wrote a story at school of going to Target, and it's him going to the jewelry section and being like, "Dad, can I have this?" That's the school. Yeah. That's the story he wrote at school.
We were trying to figure out what it said because it's like kindergarten. Spelling their own things.
I love stuff like that because I don't know why. I always wonder, like, how does this reflect on me as a parent? We're like, is he picking up just like insane jewelry chatter coming from the living room, like between you guys? Like, why'd you buy this?
But the thing is, like, none of us. I don't even wear my wedding ring. I don't even. Right. I think I know where it is. Like I do not wear jewelry. Every couple of years I panic and then I find it and I'm like, I'll put it in a safe place.
And then you forget where that is.
And I forget where it is.
Yeah,
but like we never wear jewelry, so it's just funny that he's so obsessed with jewelry. It's when I put on earrings, someone goes, "You going to a wedding?" And I have to be like, "Never mind," and take them out.
Speaking of jewelry.
Oh, speaking of weddings.
Valentine's Day just happened. Oh. Did anybody notice, or did we slip on by?
No,
we didn't do anything.
I feel like it was just a universal, like, nah, it's fine.
Nah, it's whatever.
We'll see you next year.
Yeah.
Do you guys normally do anything?
Time. No, I don't think. I mean, go on a date certainly, but
this is a test. I'm texting Megan as you speak. No.
I'm sure she would have loved if I had planned something, right? But it's also,
ouch.
It always seems to wind up on like a Saturday or a Sunday, which means we're getting a babysitter, which is, we don't have one yet.
Yeah.
And I don't know. This year in particular was just, I don't know, the kids were acting up that day. So it would have been painful to make anything happen anyway. But I don't know. It's like, well, let's go on a date some other day when it works and we can enjoy it. Yeah. Or I'm a big fan of trying to do something in June or July where it's like, well, guess what? I forgot about Valentine's Day, but here's a random surprise because I was just thinking about you, and I still feel guilty about February.
Well,
I do agree though with the whole like I don't need to go out that exact day. I don't need to go out. But if anything, it's like, should we go out for dinner? Find a baby? Like, sure, that's fine.
I mean, I like an excuse to go out to dinner. Sure. We always have fun. Like we'll always have fun if we go and do something.
Expecting anything.
Well, I have been so busy with work, and I remember I was like in a work meeting at like 8 a.m. and I was like, oh my gosh, look at the date. And I was like, And I went upstairs and Emily was like, did you know it's Valentine's Day today? And I was like, no, is it really?
I didn't know.
I had no idea.
I forgot because the kids had all their school parties, which like I did more for that. All their school parties, Valentine's, all that stuff, the Friday before or 2 out of 3 did. So in my head, it had
Sunday.
It was Monday.
It was Monday. Okay.
So in my head, it had already passed. It was like it was last Friday.
We could have done something.
And so,
whoops!
I didn't even think about it.
I don't know. It's one of those. It's cliche to say it, but it's like it's like a Hallmark holiday, and like what's the other one in October? Sweating Day, Sweetest Day.
Well, but
just like you guys literally just drew another holiday 6 months later, so you can double dip.
It's a fun holiday if you're dating, if you have a newer relationship.
Yes.
If you're married, you have other dates that are way more important. You have anniversaries, you have birthdays, you have kids' birthdays, you have whatever, traditions you've built. And it's like this sort of like sweetheart Valentine's thing for when you've been married 10, 11 years or whatever. It's like
whatever it is.
It's very
There's
arbitrary.
other things that are a bigger deal.
Yeah. Yes.
Right. There are other days that are more important.
That's a great way of, sort of splitting the difference between because when you're in a new relationship and you don't have significant dates,
then it's exciting.
Then it's
fun.
Something.
Yeah.
And it's fun and it's cool and all that. Now it's like, we have stuff that actually means we got stuff that means things
to us. We have our stuff.
Right.
We have our
days. Right. Exactly. Well done.
Yeah,
you can see that Ben is much more eloquent than I. You got stuff.
I don't see how that's possible. You're the one who's trained in everything language. You're a better Wordle player than me.
Speak. I write. I don't speak.
Do you guys want to talk about some board games, or do we want to break?
I can talk about board games, or I can take a break. I mean,
no, let's dig into it. Let's get into the meat of this.
Royalty-free music, though. Can we have a simulated 10-second break?
We need a simulated 10-second break where I pop in the royalty-free music. Yeah. Everybody just chill for a second. This is called Feeding the Ducks. Everybody just be cool. And we'll just enjoy this. I mean, I could do a whiskey refill, but I can do that when we take our real break, too.
We'll be right back. You're listening to NPR.
Yeah.
It's 10:15. It's raining.
Welcome to the Date Night Dice podcast. We'll be right back.
Wow. There you go.
That was really good.
Why is this called Feeding the Ducks?
It's called Feeding the Ducks.
That's
all right. Please enjoy your royalty-free music. We'll get more of that in the future.
It's simulated break. I like that.
All right, so we've been talking about what we wanted to talk about board games, and we're kind of always like, a show mostly about board games, but probably not, has been actually very true, and I think that we want to keep it that way. We also want an opportunity to talk about games, but I don't want to bore Ken to death if I've played particularly a lot of games since our last podcast. So what we're going to do, we're going to have some honorable mentions. These are games that either we both played or I played since our last podcast. And then we're going to have a couple of games that we dig into. Honorable mentions for this week. I convinced everybody in our D&D group, because we play board games when one person is out. So we have 5 players. We played 5-player Concordia. And Concordia is fantastic. At 3, 4, and 5 players, that is an amazing game. We played on the Germania map, and it was a weird, crazy map. The way the boats worked was out of control. I did not win, but it was very challenging and hard and fun. I also played, a friend of ours, Ryan Quinn, had his birthday party the other day, and we had enough guys
to have... Happy birthday, Ryan.
Yeah, happy birthday, Ryan. We had 2 games going. So somebody mentioned Underwater Cities. It was Seth, actually, because he'd played it online. And I said, you know what? I've only ever played Underwater Cities 2-player. Let's play Underwater Cities 4-player. And it was awesome.
I thought you were going to say awful.
No, it was great. It was very challenging. I made some stupid rules mistakes. I taught it fine, and everybody else played the rules correctly. I messed up my own production phase and screwed up.
I thought you were going to say, I taught the rules perfectly. Everybody else messed it up.
No.
It had nothing to do with me.
That'd be better.
I think everybody else was doing fine, and I screwed up my own production phase. None of my tunnels produced money, and I was broke the whole game.
You did that with me last time, too, though. Something about tunnels in you can't...
Yeah, well.
You forget every time.
Sort of,
we also upgraded from summer camp to Clank with the kids, and Calvin screwed everybody over. He killed everybody in the dungeon because he got the cheapest treasure and left as quick as he could. Obviously, Calvin wasn't really playing. He can't read his cards. I was telling him what his cards were, and he was making decisions. The girls, though, were playing for real, and as soon as we finished, they said, can we play that again?
Yeah, also really
I love Clank.
Yeah, we will play Clank again. On to some games Emily and I played, though. Here's our real deal games we want to talk about. Ryan from the Gamecasters the Gamecasters in general picked Hadrian's Wall as their 2021 Game of the Year.
Did they really pick it as their game?
That was their 2021 Game of the Year.
Now I feel really bad.
I feel you haven't even said spoilers.
Look at that board, though. I hate this game already based on the board.
Thank you.
That's an Excel spreadsheet.
I put in pictures so that you could see exactly what you start with.
So, in Hadrian, Ryan sent us a copy of Hadrian's Wall. He's been evangelizing this game for quite a while, and I said I would like to try it, but I'm probably not going to buy it. And he said, "Guess what? Go check your doorstep," and there it was. It was super nice of him. I really appreciated it. It was kind of a fun way to try the game.
It was really nice.
So we, of course, set up a game night to play it. In Hadrian's Wall, this is a flip and write game, or people use the term blank and write because there's roll and writes, there's flip and writes, there's whatever. These are the types of games where you have paper sheets that you write on, and you're typically marking off boxes or filling in spaces or whatever. In Hadrian's Wall, a card flips up, which is essentially starting resources for everybody. Then you have 2 sheets that are, like Ken said, they're very busy. There's a lot going on these sheets.
There's a lot going on those sheets.
Yeah.
You are like building defenses against attacks, while at the same time improving the cultural aspects of your city that's behind the walls. That's thematically what's happening.
Yeah.
But what you're trying to do is you're trying to spend your resources, which are most of the time, there's like one that's called resources, and the rest of them look like meeples, but they're essentially different wooden resources that you have, and you're trying to figure out the most efficient way to spend them that will give you more actions, because some of the actions give you more resources to spend.
Yeah.
So if you spend this to that, gives you this to do that, to do this, to do that, to do this, to do that, to that, and then you'll finally run out of stuff.
It is quite a while. Like, it's a good 5 minutes of us like switching and just doing
we were going
thing.
pretty quick, so it was 5, maybe a little bit more, 5 to 10 minutes.
More. But I just mean, like, you're not talking during that. It's you just looking at your papers and doing your own thing for that, which I feel like then 5 minutes is pretty long to just be like doing your own thing.
Yeah, so the course,
that's all.
Right, it's 6 rounds of flip a card up and then hand out the resources, and you say go, and everybody puts their heads down and is looking at their sheets, playing their own Sudoku.
Yeah, exactly.
And the only interaction is if you want to purchase the number from the player to your left or right, you pay to them. They'll have a number in front of them on the card they drew, and you're like, I really need that 4. I'll give you the resource so I can write 4 down on my sheet. That's the only player interaction.
That's the only interaction.
But typically you're just heads down, until you run out of stuff, and then you sort of pencil down and wait. Once everybody's done, it's heads up, and you go to the next round. And then at the end of 6 rounds, everybody looks at what their total score was. Whoever had this highest score wins. I'll let you say some things about it, and then I think I have some things to say.
Well, I'm not a fan of like roll-in rights or blank-in rights or whatever you want to call them. I think mainly because I enjoyed if we're playing a game, I want the board interaction. I want the player interaction. Yeah. So it was just like we were each playing a solo game across from each other, which I'm like, then why am I here?
Yeah.
I don't. Like, I think if you like solo games, it would be fine and it would be fun because it is more in depth than most like roll-in rights kind of thing. Like there is actual, you do 2 purples here and you get a black one, and then you do 2 blacks here and you get a yellow, and that yellow produces like there is a lot to it, and it is pretty simple once you figure out that Excel spreadsheet. But
it's a very pretty Excel spreadsheet.
Yeah, right. But I mean, overall, I find it extremely boring. Like, I'm sitting there by myself being like, hey, now I got a blue. Okay, I'll cross the blue off here. Well, now it gave me this. Okay, I'll do that. I don't find that fun. I know some people love that. I just personally do not care at all.
I mean, we talk about multiplayer solitaire sometimes. A tapestry is a good example of a multiplayer solitaire, because
even has more interaction.
While you're competing on the center map and on the tracks, a lot of your decisions are based on your previous decisions, not necessarily on what other people are doing.
Yeah.
This game, but in a tapestry, even
like Wingspan or something. Like Wingspan, you're building your board.
You're building your board. The big difference between those games is each person around the table takes a turn, right? So I take a turn, you take a turn, you take a turn. We're on the same tracks. I see what you're doing. We're playing the game together, one step at a time. This game is very much, we're just going to both at the same time play a solo game, and at the end, we're going to see who did better. This is... Multiplayer solitaire is a term used to criticize some, Euro games that are like, there's not enough interaction here. But that term does not necessarily apply here. This is actually playing, you play 2 solo, or multiple, everybody's playing a solo game with the same resources each round, and we're going to see who did a better job of it. right?
Yeah.
We're going to hand out the
Yeah.
same Sudoku puzzle to everybody,
Exactly.
and I want to see who solves it the fastest.
Which, if you enjoy those puzzles and you like that style,
Some
like,
people love that kind of stuff.
it's just not my thing.
Yeah.
And I think if you do like that kind of stuff, you know, like the Gamecasters picked this as their game of the year, the puzzle of this, what you do with those resources
there's-
each round, the puzzle of it is a very good puzzle.
There's like
That's good.
1,000 different
Oh yeah,
variations.
it's
of
so
play.
engaging,
know.
and as soon as I played it once, I was like, well, I want to try again because I know I could have done so much better.
Yeah.
Like-
Can the solo is the same
right.
as playing
Just
with
It
play
is.
yourself.
The solo is the same experience.
Go for it.
Exactly. The there's a couple like tiny little rules changes when you play by yourself, but yes, exactly. It is. I would love to sit down and solve this puzzle. In the same reason I can't stop playing Gloomhaven for four-person campaign by myself.
Sure.
Like I want to
Yeah.
solve each of the missions puzzles, and Hadrian's Wall. I want to be like, okay, give me some resources, and I want to see if I can maximize my score
Yeah,
and try to
I
do
get
great.
that.
Yeah.
But there is, I don't see any incentive to playing this with other people.
If you like the interaction of games, it's not the game for you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You know, if you like trying to like get to that spot first, outmaneuver someone in this situation, it's not the game for you.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you like solo games, it's great. I did find it easy that once you knew the overall basic rules, even if you have no clue what you're doing, it was like, well, I have 2 purples, and you look over and you're like, I can do this, and you can just cross it
That's
off,
good.
and like
That's
it will
good.
still work.
Yeah.
It's not where you're like have to know 4 steps ahead, because I think I won. And overall, I was like, I really don't care about this at all. Like, sadly.
I think I have no criticisms of it for what it's trying to do. I think it does
Mm-hmm.
an excellent job of being what it is. But what it is
Sure.
just not something that is the
Yep.
kind of game we pull out for our 2-player game nights.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
all.
It's just not
Makes
my
sense.
style.
Yeah.
So,
We did pull out again Merchant's Cove, a game that I would say is not necessarily best at 2, but interesting
but-
enough that we keep pulling it out. It's quirky enough that I keep wanting to try the different merchants and play it. We've talked about it before, so I won't go into too much detail about how it works, but we did try different factions. So we played twice. Emily, you played the captain.
played the captain each time.
Both
And I
times.
still suck at it. I don't know if I'm doing something wrong or if I just,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, now I want to play the captain and see if I can beat you with the captain.
It felt like by the time I got to where I want to be, the round, the whatever was over.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I just got set up to do something decent. It just took me forever, which maybe it's me, maybe it's luck, because it is partly luck of like the spinner and certain things. But I was not good at like setting myself up for success.
Yeah, the captain is interesting, and they're collecting goods by going to islands and by fishing, which is you have 4 little boats that you're moving around a map, but the way you move around on the map is a spinner, like
Like Twister, like,
Yeah.
like a spinner,
Life.
right? And then
Yeah,
exactly. And depending on where it lands, you like get different amounts of movement with your ships and stuff. I played the captain
You
once.
did play it
I don't
once.
remember how I did,
So-
but I would like to. Well, I think when I was the captain, you were the innkeeper, and I think I destroyed you.
Yeah, though I know I played the innkeeper wrong that time. Like, I got a rule wrong, and at the very end, I was like, are you serious? You can do this during that?
Yeah, I don't
like,
remember what it was.
completely messed it up, so...
Yeah.
Because of that, I
not
remember.
saying I would be good at that either.
I remember you did poorly with
But
the
that
innkeeper.
one doesn't count.
That
Yeah.
one really doesn't. It was something where I thought you had to, like, match something up, and at the very end, you were like, no, you don't have to only do this. And I was matching something
just
in a
don't
way
remember
that
what
didn't
it
make
is.
sense, and so I really effed it up.
But because of that experience, I played the innkeeper, and
Which you beat me.
I liked the innkeeper a lot.
Yeah.
Though the innkeeper, the decisions they're having to make on their own personal board are very small, and they're very, very dependent upon the people coming to town to buy stuff, and then
That's
they come
cool,
and
though.
they stay at the inn and they spend money or whatever.
Well, that's the thing. It's fun either way because it's like this fun
Yeah.
little like guys getting off the boats and the little like it's just fun. So even though the captain I sucked and I lost, it was still fun.
I liked and then I also played the Chronomancer, particularly because people said it's hard to play the Chronomancer, and I was like, well, let's see. But essentially, that one, it has 2 components to it. One, you spend time now that you bank time now and then you can have free time later because you're like a time traveler.
Okay.
So you can spend like 2 time now, and then like when you need it, you can just like do stuff for free later. And then the other thing is, your tiles are constantly changing out from this row you have below you, so you have to be looking several turns ahead to be like, I'm going to put this tile in here when I'm in this spot, so that I can get this thing, which means I need to set up the
I feel like I would not
in a
be
certain
good at
way.
that. I was much more like, let's wing it.
Well, I beat you both times.
Well, I know. That one was very like Labyrinth, the board game. It's like a kid game, but where the tiles like slide and then make a new maze. It was it's like that.
Though I didn't beat Evan's score when he was the Chronomancer, but Evan is goes to
Harvard grad. So I mean, like like
he's a wizard
every time.
Right.
I feel like if I
He's
ever
a wizard, Harry.
do beat him, I'm always like, well, look who I beat today. At that point, I have to shove it in his face. Well. Looks like the Harvard can't get you to this game.
Yeah.
And our third and final game for today was one I bought kind of on a whim. I have wanted to pick up Destinies from the same people who, I think it's from Lucky Duck. It's the same people who do Chronicles of Crime. It's because it's built on a similar system. It's built on that QR code system.
Oh, really?
So Chronicles of Crime.
I see it right here.
Yeah, the console of Chronicles of Crime is we'll give you a deck of people, and we'll give you a deck of items and a deck of locations, and we'll build an app that builds a crime using those things. And we can build DLC into the app because we know what stuff you have, so we'll build more things into it. Destinies takes that same idea and says, okay, there's decks of item cards, but it's a RPG fantasy world. There's characters, and then there's location tiles, and we can just build these fantasy missions, RPG missions, in the same sort of thing. It is not cooperative like Chronicles of Crime, but it is instead somewhat competitive, where each person has a destiny that then they're trying to fulfill before the other players. But it still follows you need an app, right? So you can use a phone or a iPad or whatever. We used there's a Steam version of the app, and we used a webcam to read the QR codes.
That's right. I saw you guys playing. That was pretty cool. I was wondering what was going on there.
It is, so it is like the RPG, like there isn't much to it. Like it's not like Chronicles of Crime, you have to like big time solve a crime. This one you have, what is it called? I guess your destiny, but you have like goals that you have to try to meet.
Those are your destinies, yeah.
So you're like trying to meet your goal, but it's not, I don't know, like it's not as engaging, or it's kind of, I don't know how to like, there isn't too much to it, but it was still really fun, which I'm surprised because normally like RPGs or like a dungeon crawler kind of adventure game, I'm not a fan of. Like I don't really care.
Okay.
So, but this one I still enjoyed, like trying to figure it out and get to what I needed and all that.
And I think we're like, it has some dungeon crawl aspects where you'll run into challenges, and you have dexterity, you have strength, and you have like cunning or other knowledge or something like that. You have 3 skills, and then you have like these little pips in your skill tracks, and you're trying to get them as low as you can, because when you roll dice, however many of your pips you beat is how many successes you had. So you're trying to move those down as you play, and they'll be like, climb a tree. Well, that's a dexterity challenge. Roll the dice. How many successes did you get? And you tell the app, and then the app tells you what happened. So you don't know the difficulty of things.
Yeah, and I don't know if you go in a specific order, if that changes things. There's been times where I'm like, well, do I talk to this guy first or do this? Like, I don't know if that changes it.
Yep.
Which it might. I'm not sure.
I don't know, and I don't think I want to know. The fun of the game is that your destiny is very vague, and you gradually, over the course of the game, begin to figure out what it means. Oh, it means I need to go here to get this thing and bring it to this guy, and then I need to find where the other one is and bring it to some other guy, or I need to get this spirit out of this. out of
cave
this
or something.
cave, and then you know, but I can't get in the cave until I find a light source. And there's a couple of places to find a light source. I found out you can get a torch from the church if I light it on fire, or you can.
I definitely should have got like holy
There's stuff
water.
like that, right? Yeah, it's like you need a way to prove you're religious. Well, you can like either buy
light the church on fire,
something, or steal a crucifix from the church. When you do that, though, then the whole church all of a sudden isn't a safe haven anymore.
I walked
like
out of the church with the
religious.
crucifix, and it was like everyone was dying inside.
I was both. This game was different than I anticipated. So I would say, like Emily said, it's not as engaging as Chronicles of Crime. Like, you're not all going to be pouring over the board and just talking about, like, what do we need to do?
No.
It's like what you need to do gradually reveals itself to you. And you're like, oh, okay, I think I figured it out. And then at the same time, a story's happening on the board, like, and it's always way crazier than you think it's going to be, like the rat lady or like, remember the Rat King monster guy, and he showed up, and like it was like, well, now I can't go there anymore. There's some like monster.
Some crazy crap was
remember
happening.
that angel showed up? There's like,
but then the angel left. I don't know.
I don't even know what's happening.
Wow.
That angel.
But the thing is, so it was like it was less because it had kind of been hyped up in my mind. Destinies is amazing, you know, and I was like, well, I love Chronicles of Crime, and people are saying Destinies is amazing. Is Destinies amazing? Nah, Destinies is fine. Like it's fine. But what I really liked about it is that it's so easy. I will never
really
have
easy.
to open that rulebook up again ever.
Cool.
Just like I will never open the Chronicles of Crime rulebook. Like anytime we were like, you know what? I don't know what I want to do. You want to play Destinies?
It is nice.
We have one more mission to do.
You don't have to set anything up. It's super easy.
Cool.
You can kind of, and I mean, like we played 2 stories. The last time we played, I was like, you know what? Sure, let's go for it. And you like roll the dice, and it's fun to just be like, didn't make it, or I got it, or whatever.
Ah, shoot.
Because it's so easy to set up and to play. I do recommend playing on like a iPad or the computer, or if we had to play on our phones, I don't think I would enjoy it. If I couldn't see like what you're doing, or if you had to read everything to me, and it just wouldn't be as
definitely with us
nice.
playing it on the big monitor with the Steam app. It was more like playing a video game, so much so that we would forget to move our characters on the board physically.
Oh, really?
I could see if you were playing with a phone, like you're looking at the board a lot. The board tiles, they have like nice, pretty art, and your guys are moving around, and there's like points of interest. They're just like these generic tokens. Like, here's a point of interest. But since we had the app up all the time, the big app, it says, here's the merchant at this is the merchant's house. This is the blacksmith. This is the church.
Gotcha.
This is it says it on there. And so the only time I ever looked at the board was just to remind myself where I am.
Yeah.
And then I could be like, oh, I can get to here. So I just click there on the app. Like we were just playing a video game. And
but then you roll dice to
but
be
then
like,
you
did
roll
I
dice
pass?
and you upgrade your guy like physically on your
you
little
have like
player
the cards
board.
of things you
Your
can get.
little
But I mean, for
console.
the most part, it is kind of like an easy video game where you just interact a little more,
Yeah, and you know,
which I liked.
it was
cool.
fun.
Yeah.
Like,
But
it
I
was
also
fun.
had no idea what to expect. So
That's
I feel
good.
like that's always nice.
Yeah, that's a good place to be when you start anything new.
Yeah, I was super worried I was gonna hate it because most adventures we played a kind of like an unlock, but like a card adventure one.
Yeah, there's tons of them.
And I was so disappointed because it was honestly like, well, yeah, you can choose that way, but ultimately in the end, you're gonna have to choose, the way we picked, kind of thing. Like, yeah, you can go do that, but you're still gonna have to come back and do this. And then I always find it's like, well, what's the point? Like, I'm not actually doing anything.
Yeah, I also liked in this, if you're floundering, like you're just looking in the wrong places for your thing, the other person probably isn't, and the end will come. Like,
Okay.
or
That's
it
good.
will force the end on you. A lot of times it seemed like there was a timer, and it didn't say I'm a timer. It said I'm a giant monster who's about to crush the one
They're
place
like,
you need to go.
they're like, hey, stupid, the church is under fire, or whatever.
Yeah.
So.
It's so weird because
That's okay,
it's
though.
not, I'm not super excited about it. It wasn't super fun. But I would always say, yeah, sure, let's give it a try. Let's play it. I want to play the next 2 missions of the base game box campaign, and we have the Sea and Sands box, and I want to play those ones. Like, I just want to keep doing the adventures.
It was just easy and nice to not have to think super hard.
But I'm not like,
So I
hey,
liked
you
it.
guys got to get out there and go buy this.
No.
But Man,
it was fun.
I'm glad I have it. I was afraid to buy it, and I'm glad I have it.
You were afraid to buy it because it randomly showed up?
No, I finally
No, that's not it.
I was pre-ordering Streets, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to buy Destinies with it, and let's give it a shot. I've heard such good things.
Man, you're lucky. You are pushing it. Do you want to take a break?
Let's take a little break because then we got some questions when we get back.
Oh man.
All right, we're back from feeding the ducks, and now I want to know now what is cooking in Ken's kitchen.
Nothing. Stop using metal utensils in your nonstick pans, you ding-dongs. It means you're eating Teflon. You're destroying the pan. Go get nylon and plastic utensils.
Absolutely. Yes.
That's it. This concludes what's cooking in Ken's kitchen.
Do you have any idea how many times I have to say that every day to this person over here?
It came up because you know what I finally found after, honest to goodness, years of searching? A non-stick safe ground meat or potato masher.
Really?
You know, it's always that metal squiggle,
yeah,
the metal S.
Yeah, you can't even use that in anything.
You can't use that in anything. It's a stupid tool.
Actually, we have stainless steel pots.
We do
That's
have some
how we
pots
can
like
make mashed potatoes.
Yeah.
And then if you get the plastic ones, it was like the holes were super tiny.
Oh, it's like it looks like a fly swatter kind of.
Yeah, or like a waffle iron type thing.
Yeah.
So anyway, they finally make one. Looks like a star almost. Anyway, that's what. Don't stop using metal on nonstick everywhere.
I love the tip. That's a great tip, Ken.
You had to do the same with a whisk. I had to find a whisk that has like a rubber coating. Yep. Because I kept using pans, and I'm like, shoot, I really need.
Well, especially with a whisk, then you're like really.
You're like
scraping.
That's how you. Yeah. I'm gonna make sure this is never nonstick again.
You're scraping it off into the food.
I never intended Ken's Kitchen to be an actual segment about kitchens, but it certainly has been leaning in that direction, and I'm not complaining.
Well, I don't have any other tips for you guys. Stop using nonsticks. Get good knives. Sharpen your knives. Don't put a fridge in your garage unless your garage is ambient temperature 50 degrees Fahrenheit or higher, preferably 60. Okay. It will not run.
Which doesn't actually hurt the fridge part too bad, but it
just won't run.
But if the freezer part will not be frozen, typically,
right?
Especially on older fridges where it does the freezer and that's what cools the fridge, like ours in our garage.
They still work like that. Now they have too many sensors in them, though, and it'll just turn the whole thing off when it gets too cold. Man. I wish I had some sort of philosophical chestnut to drop at the end here at Ken's Kitchen.
That's okay. That's
Don't
all right.
use nonstick. Yeah. Anyway.
All right, Emily, you polled the audience. And we have some questions.
We have some Instagram questions.
Oh, man. My favorite segment of the show, Instagram questions.
Okay. This one was a message. So this one was urgent.
Okay.
Even though I had to look it up and it was like...
So you had to provide an answer at that moment?
I kind of did, but I said that we would for sure talk about it. This from Purple Meeple Eater.
Okay.
Yeah, nice. I said that right. Okay. Okay, he said... I was talking with my wife and said something along the lines of, oops, I put my socks on the wrong feet, and she was completely confused. She said there's no such thing as a right or left sock. And while this may be true for brand new socks, once they've been worn a few times, you can definitely tell which foot they're supposed to go on. What are your thoughts on the left and right sock? I like how he flipped it on me there. And then he says, am I a psycho for thinking this was common knowledge? He didn't understand why she didn't get it.
I think he answered his own question.
I think there's a flaw to his argument here. Once they've been worn a few times, you can definitely start to tell which foot they're supposed to go on. That's under the assumption that you wore them a few times on the same foot each time.
Well, he has a right and left, so
if you
be nice.
If you just throw your foot on, if you throw your sock on any foot, it never wears in one way or the other.
Exactly,
and there isn't a right and a left. First, what was his question? Am I a psycho for thinking this was common knowledge? Yes, absolutely you are. if you ever for a moment thought that it was common knowledge that people wear their unmarked socks, okay.
Hold on.
All right. Go ahead.
Wow. Somebody's
Brave
burnt
take.
at the stake here.
Now, I have a big toe that protrudes considerably farther than any toe on my foot.
Okay.
I think he
My
did
feet-
also mention that in the message. He's
my
like,
feet are
maybe
shaped
I
like
have that. Yeah.
Like a isosceles triangle.
Yeah.
That's how my feet are shaped. So he's right when he says that after a few wears, you get a toe point. But you just flip the feet and then the toe point goes away.
But would you expect Megan to know there's a right and left?
Of course not. And I certainly wouldn't suggest that anyone would sort them that way. That would be psychopathic behavior.
How would you even tell? I don't.
You'd have to pick
You
them
tell
each
by
up.
your sock, and
you'd have to look at.
Could you imagine while you're doing
That's
laundry
serial
trying to
killer
discern
behavior.
which sock is which?
Right.
I wonder if Purple Meeple Eater has kids or not. I'm gonna guess no. Right.
What
then
if
and
you
there.
had multiple of the same sock, right? So let's say you washed 5 pairs of your nondescript socks, and each pair is a right and a left, but it's not marked in any official way.
Right.
And then when you go to then put those socks away, you have to determine at that moment
gotta
after being
find the right
washed the
shape.
right and the left, so you could pair them up.
No.
This seems crazy to me.
That's serial killer behavior.
Now I do have.
You'd have to line them all
That's
out.
that's your
You'd have to
basic
put
red
'em-
flag when you head over
pair
to
'em
your
up.
boyfriend's house.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I
Where
and
you're
this is coming from somebody who has socks that are
do
marked right and left.
you do
I
have that.
actually do own
Is that
athletic
right?
socks that have an R and an L.
I think
and I'm
that
always
would
trying to
bother
mark them
me.
up.
That would bother me more
Well-
because then you have to match them up.
Exactly.
Oh, I definitely have some L's where I don't know where the R went. And there's just
Right.
there's a single L that stays in the
Right.
sock drawer that never gets a partner anymore.
I don't even try to. I just throw them in your pile. Like you do it.
No,
then.
I hate what you do. You screw it up. Like that's why they're not matched up. Because you're just like, I don't know, whatever. Like you're
I'm not
blind
gonna
to the
sit there
freaking.
and look
There's
for
like
the R
letters
and the
on the
L.
socks. I don't understand why you can't just like you're there with both of the socks in your hand. And you're just like,
Because
I
there's
fucking
always-
hate this
there's
guy.
always, like-
what is your problem with the socks? No wonder why all I have left is socks with holes in
You
them.
know what I
Because
do?
all my nice socks that are branded right and left have
I
been
take a
thrown in
couple
the-
of R's and I hide them so that you're stuck with a couple of L's.
That's also, I don't
I
like
knew
the
it.
left-right thing either because maybe you land heavy on one foot. Then you have
That's
to
true.
switch them, right?
Now you're
Yeah.
wearing out one more faster than the other.
You're
And then
all
by
out
the
of
time you
L's.
switch it, like they're really molded
Yeah.
in there.
Although I do find those more expensive athletic socks, they typically don't ever seem to wear out. It's always the cheap crap
Yeah.
I have that wears
Yep.
out.
Well, duh.
Well, then that's part of the left-right thing. I think if you have good socks, you don't notice that they're
Yeah,
shaped.
maybe Purple
Left
Meeple
and
Eater
right.
needs to just get some better socks.
This is the upgrade your socks podcast, I think. Get nice socks. It's worth it.
But I do think that not any other person should ever know that that's a thing. So you are a little
Yeah,
psycho
take that
if
to
you
your
thought your
grave.
wife should know that. You
I
thought that
think-
you should know that?
I
No,
think.
I agree with
look
you.
at him. Look at him. I'm going to disagree so much with what he's thinking in his head. If you think the onus is on someone else to take care of your left and rights, boy, you're in the wrong place.
Just set me
Now,
up to be
granted,
able to
yours
sort
say
them. That's all I'm
yours
asking.
say left and right, so that's different.
But it's then knowing
yeah.
I have to find them. Like, I don't want to wait around to be like, where's he? Like, you do it.
That's true.
It's in your pile. They're your socks.
What is it that
All right.
you want her to do? I'm confused.
I just want to be taken care of. But
Like a giant baby. Would you like me to lay out your clothes
there
in
it
the morning?
is. Yeah.
all right, moving on. What is the next question, Emily?
Okay, a broad game, friend of the pod, said, are there any games you initially loved that didn't like over time, or vice versa?
That's
Games
tough.
we loved, and then you tried them, and you're like, eh.
It's easy to have a game grow on you, I think.
Yes. I don't know if we had the other. So when we first got Underwater Cities, everyone hyped it up to
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh, you're going to Disney World. And I was like, it's fine. And it was also still disappointed in the art. but that's not the case. I do enjoy that game now much more than the initial play. But I don't know if we went the other way. If there was something we loved and then we're like, tough.
Yeah. I can think of one that I think that might happen to.
Okay.
I've said this before, I think. I loved Formula D. I don't think it has a lot of replay value.
That's true.
And really, I think basically that's kind of what this question is. Like, games that don't have replay value fall into this category of like, well, I love this, but we cracked the case. I know everything about how this works.
Well, the one thing about Formula D, we were always playing it in like a party setting. We never got to play with like the big boy rules where there's pitting and then there's like
that'd be so
damage.
Cool.
You got to you pit to fix your tires. So you spend tires when you roll past corners and stuff. And we never really got into the meat of that game. And I feel like there was a lot more there. I kind of wish I still had that around, to be honest. But we don't live by each other anyway, so.
Yeah.
I saw a knockoff version at Target, actually, and what was it called? But it came with 6 little Matchbox cars in it.
Man.
I'll have to find it. I've been looking at it for months now.
You are thinking of the game from Restoration Games called... Shoot, I do know, and I can't think of it right now. That is not a Formula D knockoff. That is an excellent game.
Oh, really?
Where you're controlling certain cars around the track, but you're betting on which ones are going to win. It's like you have control of some set of the cars or whatever, but your points aren't necessarily determined. I don't know. I've never played. Shoot, I can't remember what it's called.
I think like an adventure game, though, would be one where I'd be like, but that's just because you've kind of played it out.
Because you played it,
Yeah. So that's not necessarily anything against a game.
I can't think of anything. That's a good question.
I mean, I definitely
I'm
thought...
trying to look quick.
There was a very long time where I thought Agricola was the greatest thing since sliced bread. And... I never go to pull Agricola off the shelf anymore. If I wanted that same sort of feeling, I would play Caverna.
Anxiety.
And there's a lot of other games that are more fun than Agricola. And but there was a time where we only had Agricola. We had Agricola, and at some point in time later, we picked up Small World. But there was several year period of time where like that was our game, and we played it. We played it like 50 times.
Gotcha.
And I counted up the score sheets. We actually played it 50 times.
Wow.
But that's because that was like all we had.
Yeah, that was all we had. And it made us, I think it made us like tolerant of heavier games, especially worker placement games.
Sure.
It also taught us a lot about like playing these kinds of games, but it just sort of was played out. And if somebody said they would play it, I'd say sure. But it used to be the thing of like, I need to show this to everybody I know. Like everybody I know needs to play this to see how interesting this is.
You didn't have any other games that were that heavy, and you were just
exactly. And so there was a time. Yeah, there was.
I mean, that's still different.
Well, but there was a period of time at which that game to me was like the king, and now it's like, there's a lot of stuff I'd pick before it. Now another good example too was. I've had a lot of fun playing Star Wars Imperial Assault.
Okay.
I don't know that I would seek out a lot of Imperial Assault again.
Was that just because you played a lot?
We played a lot. We played several campaigns, and then we did sort of a 5-player campaign that Phil ran, and it just was very difficult.
Phil fell. You did the eyes and the.
The hard part was it started to break down the balance. Like it was just it wasn't set up to play that way, and I guess I could go back and play a regular campaign of it and have a lot of fun. But
once again, it's just you've played a lot. There's games that I expected more from, and then I was kind of disappointed, but not I loved, and then like.
Yeah, that's tough. That's a tough question.
Not that I think. I'm trying to look, but I don't think so. I think, like you said, Ben, there's some games that were really cool at the time, and now they're very simple compared to some other games.
We've outgrown a little bit.
Yeah, like Imperial Settlers we still have, but now that we play it, I'm like, this is actually isn't. It's pretty simple the way it like runs where at the time I might have been like, ooh, this is different, new, and whatnot. But that's just more because we played it a lot over time. And
Gotcha.
Yeah. And our last question, I think last, is Cardboard and Clay said, how much does Ben deadlift? And then he said, but seriously, hobbies outside of board games.
Well, Cardboard and Clay must not listen to the
day.
podcast that much, or if you are, welcome to the show. Because all we talk about is all the other stuff we do. Yeah, like I mentioned, my deadlift's 505, so it's pretty cool. 500-pound club.
It's pretty cool.
Pretty cool.
Pretty cool. You know, I'm super into fitness. Like,
You?
Me? You know, but like,
Wait, if you didn't have fitness and board games, then you would do.
well, video games and building computers, you know, has been a hobby of mine. Audio stuff is a hobby of mine that's way more expensive than any of these other hobbies, so I try not to get too deep into
Ben
it.
used to build speakers, and then it was like, no.
It just all of a sudden you get to a place where like everything's too much money, and it's
true.
diminishing returns. But that's on the audio side of listening, which nobody wants in my house wants to dedicate a space to audio. Like whether that's for music playing, which is different than if you were going to do a super great audio setup for like a home theater, right?
And
like I don't have the space to build a home theater because I have a gym and I have a board game collection and I have all my computer stuff and I have miniature painting. And I have all these things.
So miniature painting.
If my only hobby was audio, I could probably convince Emily to like, let me put up some walls down here and build a home theater. And like, that's my thing is I put money into amps and speakers and a big screen and it'd be cool. Like I love that kind of stuff, but I don't have the resources to do everything.
Aww.
I would love a nicer road bike, you know? And I used to mountain bike a lot. And I used to ski even more than that. Downhill skiing.
That's true.
Of all the things I've ever done, downhill skiing is the thing that I did the most of in my life and I was the best at. It was the only thing I ever felt like I was at sort of an elite level was downhill skiing.
That's true.
And
We moved to literally, I think it is the flattest place
flattest
in the
part of
United
Michigan?
States.
Yeah.
it is the flattest
the-
part of the country.
Yeah.
Of
Is
the
that
US.
right?
Yes,
I believe
the
that.
Saginaw Valley, mid-Michigan area is the
believe that.
flattest part of
Which
the country.
is like, that's rough coming from the UP and like the ski
Well-
hill's literally across the street. You can see it out the window.
Well, and that one
know.
time we went out to Colorado together, like 1,000 years ago, it was annoying how into skiing you were. It bothered everyone on the trip but you. We just had to.
I
let
went
you
out
go.
there to ski.
I
was
get it.
like,
I get it. Yeah.
from the second that the chairlift opens to when they close the hill, I'm gonna ski. And you remember I was hurt? I had separated my
Yeah.
shoulder
You had
a week
Yeah.
before.
I do. Yep.
Well, even when we were dating, it's like I would still be sleeping. You were like, I'm just gonna like head over to to the hill quick,
Well,
and then you would just
gosh,
come
we had
back
a
like an hour later, and I was like, okay, I'm like,
we had a hill in our backyard at that school. That was pretty cool. Yeah.
I mean, that made it easy then.
Yeah, that was nice. I remember training for that Colorado trip. I would do intervals on the track in the SDC.
Crazy.
Gosh, what was
To train for like
happening?
runs and stuff because I was gonna do so much. I was gonna go nuts. I was gonna
And
do
then
so
what, you
much
tripped and
backcountry
separated your
stuff,
shoulder?
and I separated my shoulder right before we left for the trip. So,
But like you separated it, like honestly, just like tripping.
Days
But it was-
beforehand.
Like it wasn't like you went downhill and hit a.
I
No.
didn't. It was just dumb how I got hurt. But it slowed me down enough that then I think we had Ken. You and I had a really good time doing the off
Don't
trail
get me
stuff.
wrong. Oh man, I loved that.
We had a really
That was
good.
fantastic.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, that was fun.
Yeah.
That was.
Super good.
But that was my thing. That was. It's still. I
Yeah.
still consider myself a skier, and I haven't skied since we moved here.
I know. They used to be like right next to the garage door, and then they slowly moved more and more into the corner until they're
they
like
are.
cobwebs are on them, and yeah.
I could keep going. Like I have too many hobbies, and I just love learning new things and doing things, especially physical activities.
Yeah. obviously.
I have a longboard, rollerblades.
That's true. We used to do that a lot. We didn't last year. Do like the rollerblade family.
We'll have to do that. Everybody's old enough to bike now.
The problem
amazing rollerblading family.
Our stunts that
we do a board game show, and I think the show has pushed board games to the forefront of my hobbies. But I would say other than that outside influence, board games are not necessarily my main hobby. Mm-hmm. What about you guys?
Ken, you want to go?
Sure. Used to play a bunch of hockey. Used to read for pleasure. Now I read for work. Used to draw and paint quite a bit.
You did a lot.
Not like minis, but I think that would be the one if I didn't have any hobbies, I'd probably go back to that.
What kind of painting did you like to do?
Acrylic stuff. I did the Bob Ross stuff, but quite frankly, it's very forgiving and a little too easy to a degree. Not to sound like a douchebag, but
there we go.
Well, no, the secret
you had
is
some like really nice paintings that you guys had up in your house, and you had like big ones that were really nice.
They were $40 a pop, but
hey, that's more than
I sold a painting. I mean?
Like, hey,
so,
that's something.
Ken has done, and Ken's paintings are great.
No, they are.
The paintings you've done are very good.
They're not like little.
Give yourself some credit.
Wow, you're trying to put a glass on the shelf right now.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Really?
I'm trying to think what else. Used to skate a bunch. Used to rollerblade a bunch actually in the summer. Mm-hmm. Used to run a lot. I need to, and that's easy enough to bring back.
Yeah,
we'll do that. We'll get there. Emily?
Oh gosh. Well,
here we go. Lay it on us.
What is that supposed to mean?
We're all curious.
Here we go.
We want to know.
Well, I used to actually do photography and video for fun, and I haven't done that in a long time. Or it's like every now and then I have 10 minutes, but to actually do that.
When you do take the time to throw a video together, not like we need to put something up for, board vendors or whatever.
I mean, sorry to tell everyone, I don't actually work hard on those.
Board games are not Emily's hobby, so keep that in mind. I had to remind, I was talking to Ryan the other day because the Gamecasters are going to come visit, and we were talking about playing some games. It's like, well, maybe we'll have a chance to play something heavier. I was like, well, if you want to play something heavy, let's play something Emily knows, because you're not a board gamer as your hobby, so exploring different games is not interesting to you.
The first play of a board game is like my most hated.
That's the hard one,
yeah.
Yep.
Right, like where hobbyist
some people love to learn it, and instead I'm like, you're ruining my day.
Well, like me as a hobbyist, it's not that I love to learn it. It's that I don't. The learn is not an. I don't care about the learning. I just want to try out something new. I don't. The learning's whatever. Like, sure, teach me the game. Let's play another one. Let's play this one or that one, or try this or that. But for somebody whose hobby is not necessarily gaming, and you just enjoy the puzzle and you enjoy the social interaction, you could care less about a new game, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's fair.
I know that's like how to ruin my day is being like, should we try something new? And I'm gonna be like, well, fuck.
Well, I think we could do 2 hours on and maybe we should.
Right.
2 hours on understanding your audience when you pitch a new game to them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, I need to learn this lesson.
And I think it's a lesson that a lot of hobbyist board gamers need
That's very true.
Just think about. I'm not here to teach you anything. Just think about your audience and what they like when you pitch 5 hours of whatever, you know?
This is
right, exactly. For you, perfect.
Let's go. I'm down.
Let's do this.
But you're going to find people who would play 5 1-hour games, and you can get the same amount of gameplay time.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just,
calm down.
Use the right puzzle pieces. Yeah.
You're right. It's like play to your audience, because if it's just if the game choice is only up to me, I want to be overwhelmed by the intricacy of the game. I want it to be so hard that I can't figure it out. That's for me is fun.
I can't sleep. I can't eat. I can't think.
That is always a scenario though, like when family comes over or something and Ben's like, should we try this? And I'm like, no, why would we try that? They're gonna hate learning it. They're gonna hate the first play. They have to leave in a
and then
day.
They'll hate you.
So
I mean, gosh,
like nobody has fun in that time period.
I think I've actually made my family hate board games because of that.
They used to play and now they don't.
Oh,
That's
really?
true.
I was going to say, I feel
anymore.
like you've gotten better. Maybe
They won't even play like the simple ones.
You're
now.
right, Ken. I have gotten better, but it's too late. I already burned the bridge. They won't play anymore.
Where now they're like, I'm good. Even
After
if
I made
like,
my mom play Terra
easy.
Mystica 17 times, she won't play board games anymore.
No shit, she didn't know what was happening 24/7.
Well, you'd think after the 15th play, you'd maybe have it
15th play every 3 months.
And then
that's not
the way that Ben's mind works. Well, maybe it's the 16th play that'll get her.
Yes.
Maybe it's the 17th play that'll get her. Yeah.
Oh, man, you're so right.
You taught her games that even like I don't enjoy. And I enjoy board games. And you were trying to teach games to someone who normally does not play board games. Games that I'm like, I don't even like this.
Sorry.
I thought we were talking about what your hobbies are.
Like beer.
Yeah, what are your hobbies?
I thought we were talking about
pissing off
Emily's
Ben.
hobbies. Yeah, well, you're good at that one.
Photo, video. I like rollerblading. I used to like play sports and do, like hiking and like all that stuff. And then we had kids and it was like, well, fuck it.
Years passed. Actually, you used to run with your dog when we first started dating.
Spaghetti?
Yeah.
You said the way you said your dog.
Yeah, you said like a totally different life.
Listeners don't necessarily know that you had a dog named Spaghetti when we first started dating.
But the way you said it was like you've never even met her. When we had
at the time, I hadn't.
But we had her together for like 13 years, so that's why
she transported in time.
I think she was under a year when we started dating. So
that's right.
We just got the kids into Taekwondo, and I think I might get into it.
Do it.
Calvin is gonna.
Yes, do it.
We're trying out a karate something.
It's a 2-year
similar.
black belt program. I should do it.
Do it.
It's also very expensive.
Oh, that's my worst. It's so expensive.
Everything's expensive.
No, when we first met, I would run with Spaghetti, which now I always keep. Pretty obvious. I keep messing up Potato and Spaghetti.
Well, they're very similar looking.
So that's why I keep like.
They don't act anything like each other.
No, they do not.
Potato's very nice.
She's also like scared of like loud noises.
Spaghetti was Spaghetti would be mean dog.
Pissed off.
Yeah.
I used to run with her, and then when we first started dating, I had a bunch of like random health neck issues. And then I stopped running because of it.
That's true. Yeah.
And I had to get all those like weird.
It's always something with you.
I had to get those weird shots in my neck.
Whatever.
Do you remember that?
It's always something holding you back.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I remember you got the steroid shots in your neck because they said you had whiplash from
like they were like, this is like, did you get in a car crash?
Too hard?
I was like, no, yeah. Have you been dabbing too hard?
You're really showing.
Back then, it would have been what? What is it when you shake your butt? It's
twerking.
Twerking, yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry. Granddad.
What is it when you shake your butt?
What is this when you shake your
butt? No, I had a bunch
butt?
of weird issues though, and then I couldn't run, and then honestly, we had a kid.
Yeah.
I did walk a lot with them, but I wasn't trying to run with a stroller and multiple dogs and all the whole scenario.
I mean, that's a mountain to climb, you know. If it's not, like Ken and I have talked about, like we would give up everything else before working out. That's our main hobby, right? Mm-hmm. If it's not your main hobby, working out's miserable. It's
true.
Very uncomfortable.
Well, especially if you don't have time for it every day. So if it's just like, randomly when you can, well, it's not convenient then. Especially
and it also doesn't work. You're not going to see the progress and the progression, and
it has to be 5-6 days a week, and
well, you have to be able to measure it somehow. You got some way. Yeah.
Exactly. So when it's this like random scenario, like when you can, or a lot of times, especially when you have like little kids, it's like, well, I don't have. I mean, like when we had Liv did not nap. Liv did not sleep. If it was a scenario of me being like, well, then I'll go home and take a shower. It was honestly like, and what, she screams for 30 minutes. It was just insane. So that was not my top priority. It was more like, how can I sleep was my top priority.
Yeah.
So you're telling me
my hobby is sleeping.
You've lost your hobbies in motherhood. And
I've
you need
lost
to find
all
them
hobbies.
again.
All hobbies have gone out the window.
It's
I'm a
time
mom.
to turn that around.
I'm the last on the list.
All the kids are in school. You gotta.
Well, I was walking with Potato, and then she broke my knee.
It's always something with you.
Just start doing pull-ups.
It's always.
Just do pull-ups. Just be like a pull-up freak.
Yeah, you could be like. Yes, you should.
I have 0 arm strength.
Well, start with one.
You know, yeah, you gotta start somewhere.
I don't even think I can do a push-up.
Eccentric. Get up. You pull that thing up. You stand up in the chin's already over the bar. Just do the eccentric contraction, and then climb back up.
Exactly.
That's how you
do a couple sets of those, then we'll go. You go do some lat pull downs.
But you do realize that you getting way too excited about it is what right away. Go then I don't.
I don't have to be there. I'll just be a remote coach. Have Ken coach you.
I would rather
Ken
coach.
It can't be me.
Oh, but blurry.
I don't know. Yeah, but I feel like as soon as like Ben sees me like doing my physical therapy, stretching my knee, and he's all of a sudden like, should I get the bar ready? Like, should we? And you need to calm down.
Let me talk about bracing under the bar when you unrack.
Oh my god! Yeah, I bet your knee could handle the weight now. It's like, calm down. Okay.
All right, let's okay. So what we've determined, motherhood has stolen all your hobbies, and you need to find one again.
Yeah.
We need to report back in a couple of months on what hobby you found.
I used to garden a little bit.
Sure. Whatever.
Oh, I do want to do that this year.
Really sad.
I do want to do that this year. No, because I have no green thumb. I kill everything.
But do you guys now have a yard for it? Because when you guys were here, it was like
too much
shady oak.
You could never grow anything.
You couldn't even grow grass.
You guys had moss in your backyard.
I tried.
It was
spent a lot of money trying to grow grass back there. You can't do it. No, we have air and light and dirt, and so
all the ingredients.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can attempt it.
I'll try.
I don't think last year I did. I think I did tomatoes, and honestly, there were more on at the end of the year, and I was like, whatever. Like, I was so over it. But I don't know. Last year was crazy. So maybe this year I'll actually do stuff. It's always that, sorry, I'm going to keep going with gardening.
Go ahead.
It's always that thing, though, of when you first start, you're like, I can make my own pesto, and you're so excited, and then by the end you're like, man, is this thing gonna die, or do I have to put it out of its misery? And it's just still going, and it's fall, and you're like, can you be done?
Still making tomatoes.
Oh gosh, we had cherry tomatoes in some big pots with is it a trellis and everything?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'll just leave these. I'll let these die. And you can see them right out of the living room window.
Never die.
I think they're still alive. It still has red tomatoes on it outside the window.
Waiting for you.
Right.
Perennial cherry tomato plants.
Yeah.
It's a cherry tomato tree.
Ours are definitely still
Yeah.
They're dead in the garden, but in the same position.
Oh, yeah. They're still out there. It's frozen.
They're just sad.
Frozen in time.
But we'll see.
All right. Once again, I think I said the exact same thing on the last podcast. This is the part of the show where you guys are going to talk and I'm going to listen, because I have not watched a TV show. I have not watched a single episode of any TV show since I finished the season 2 of The Witcher, and that was months ago now. So
I want to go back. Take me back to watching The Witcher.
I still haven't done The Witcher yet. I will. I haven't.
We should watch it together, because honestly, at this point, I would love to watch something.
I need to start completely over.
Literally have not watched a single episode of anything in months, and it would be cool to watch something. I'll watch The Witcher with you.
We can do that.
But what have you been watching, Emily?
I finished Yellow Jackets. I think I mentioned it in the last one. I really liked it. That was great. I don't want to give away or say anything.
Yeah.
It's a suspenseful drama, mystery, crazy crap happens. Girls crash. They're trying to survive in the woods, and it's flashbacks and nowadays, and it keeps going back and forth. I thought it was great. It's on Showtime. I loved it.
Sign me up.
I don't know. I always hear other people talking about it, and they really loved it.
It was good, though?
Yeah. Megan watched it.
Crazy.
She liked it a lot, too.
She liked it? Okay.
Yeah.
It's a little wild and crazy, but it's
like,
good.
well, you want to watch it again?
Yeah.
I don't know. I should.
That one, though,
especially when it's really good.
That one I feel like I wouldn't mind watching again because there's so much to it that
Oh,
you
wow.
might kind of see.
Okay.
All right, I'll watch some TV.
So we could watch that one.
Let's do it.
Get crazy. Mm-hmm. And then the other, I just watched the one episode, which you saw me watching it, Ben, Murderville on Netflix. Have you seen this, Ken?
No, and remind me which Will is Will Arnett?
He was
he
married
I feel like
to
I need
Amy
to look
Poehler.
this up.
Okay, Arrested Development. Okay.
Right? Okay.
Because I like Will Arnett and I like Will
Am I thinking
Forte.
that correctly?
They're both SNL guys.
Right. So this one is where there's him and like a mini crew, and they kind of have a overall script. And then there's someone who comes on, like an actor, comedian, someone who they do not have a script. And they're trying to solve a mystery as he kind of guides them through something, like a murder or something. So they pretend like it's like a big SNL skit.
Okay, so it is like a,
So it's like as if he's like, oh, this guy died and blah, blah, blah. But the actor or comedian or whoever is just 100% going for whatever. Like they're just no script, no nothing. So I watched the one with Conan, but Conan is so great at this. He's good at the improv, and like he was that. I was like, this is like it was a really good SNL skit. I thought it was hilarious because the way he reacts to like the most stupid stuff, and sometimes they break where someone has to do the like side, but overall he like knew how to keep going with it. I started to watch another one with an.
Sorry, is it like improv or is it like...
It is for the one person.
The
other
guest.
people, yeah.
So the guest doesn't know the storyline of the episode?
They don't know.
But everybody else does?
Yes.
And the expectation is that they're playing into it, right?
Yeah, so they'll be like, oh here's the murder at the magic shop, whatever.
I want to be the guest on this show.
Exactly. So
I wouldn't be good at it.
Right, but it'd be so funny. I started to watch another one, and I think it will definitely depend on the guest, though.
Absolutely, yeah.
So the Conan one I thought was really funny because
of course,
he's fantastic. But then the next one I watched, I was like, oh no, it's starting to be like it's fine, but I had to do something else, so I didn't finish.
Okay.
But I feel like it could go.
I like
it's
the way
definitely
that
goofy.
sounds.
It is like a big SNL skit. Like it's goofy and kind of dumb.
Are they long?
But I also am like I'm also for like 20 minutes or
okay, good.
You know,
because if it was like an hour, that would just be too much. You know.
No. And they give you like it's like stupid clues where they're like, okay, we need to find the murderer, and he had fur on his. Like they kind of give you the clues.
Yeah.
Because the actor or whatever is trying to actually figure it out at the time. But I don't know. I like the Conan one. If anything, just watch the Conan one.
Yeah.
That sounds fun.
But that one was fun. Ken, what have you been watching though?
You watched Dune again, I guess.
Yeah, I wish. No, I don't even want to talk about this because it's not constructive. The Boba Fett show is a hot mess.
Yeah.
It's a hot mess.
We still haven't. I'm kind of curious now
I got to watch it now. You keep talking
That's the
about
thing.
it.
I bring it up because I want you guys to tell me about it. Because there's a lot of nothing that happens. And then there's some episodes that are cool. There's one in particular that's very, very good. There's one in particular that's very, very bad, in my opinion. And it's all, I mean, I might have to spoil it to some degree. It's Boba Fett, right? He's taken over for Jabba in this town or whatever, Tatooine.
Okay.
And then it pivots. It's not even a pivot. It does a 180. There's an episode that's purely Mandalorian. Like a preview for the next Mandalorian season.
It's like Mando is in it?
It's Boba Fett is not in that episode. It's Mando exclusively.
What? So it's like a Mandalorian.
Okay, so
Pedro Pascal for 55 minutes.
What are you doing, Ben?
And then
I'm having microphone
You're
troubles.
such a mess right now.
This is where it really took me off the rails. Again, spoilers.
Yeah, spoiler.
Episode 6 is about 40 minutes of CGI young Luke.
Oh.
What?
Yeah. And I didn't mind him.
Far.
I didn't mind him in the one episode of Mando. Like where he shows up and saves the day.
1 minute.
And the CGI was bad or acceptable, and he takes Baby Yoda.
Yep.
But then you spend like 40 minutes with him, and it's just it's strange and alien.
But they can't possibly say are they gonna try to do like a whole show like that?
They're gonna do a whole episode.
And it's 40
That's
minutes.
why it seems like silly. That's
45 minutes. And the more you look into it, like it's not Luke Hamill. It's not Mark Hamill doing the voice. They're literally computer generating Luke's voice based off of
So is Mark Hamill involved at all?
No,
it's probably just they take old clips of him.
Why?
And it's literally a computer compiled face on an actor with a computer compiled voice.
Just has like
who's the body double? Not Mark Hamill.
Just some dude.
No, it was probably the same dude. It's the same actor who did the Mando episode. And he looks similar enough that they can be like, oh, we'll put on. You know what I mean?
And it's not the CGI that's the bad part for me. You get a version of Luke where it's not, and I'm not an original trilogy like worshiper, but he's in this phase of like, well, now he's Jedi Master Luke, and everything is like a parable, and Grogu, do this, or like you have to see it, and that's why, because he's just. He doesn't take any of the lessons that he learned from his interactions with Vader and the fall of the Jedi Order, and there's no evolution of what a Jedi should be. He's trying to teach like a 5-year-old kid how to 5-year-old baby Yoda how to wield a lightsaber, and he's like frustrated about it. And I think you're supposed to sympathize with him, and it's like that's a toddler.
Yeah, is this supposed to be after?
It's after the original trilogy.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, that's weird.
It's really weird. And that's why I want you to see it. Okay. And then, and Boba's super lame. Boba does nothing. The whole series.
Well, that's so sad. But spoilers. Now we need to.
Now I gotta watch it. Especially since it's been spoiled.
Sorry.
Oh, man. Oh, wait. I have to do my spoiler in a little bit.
You have a spoiler?
Do you remember my one spoiler I wanted to? But first, okay.
Oh, Emily has an excellent spoiler, actually. I really like this one.
I had to get that off the top.
No, that's good to know.
I'm glad. I don't want you to have to bear that weight, Ken. I'm glad that you shared it with me.
I want to hear somebody who liked it because I want to like it.
I know Ryan said he liked it. So I'm curious his thoughts. Ryan from the Gamecasters, he was saying he liked it so far.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
But I also don't know how big of a fan he is, because I can also see someone being like, oh no, I kind of like the movies. Like,
especially with Star Wars, it's like, well, I'm an original trilogy guy. And I'm an original trilogy person, and I like some of the prequels, and I don't like any of the sequels. But I like one of the sequels and none of the prequels and two of the trilogy. And it's like, whatever.
I think the more I like Star Wars, the more I hate Star Wars. Does that make sense? That doesn't make any sense. But the more I like Star Wars, the more I hate Star Wars.
I think you like
George Lucas made a deal with the devil where about 50, it has to be about 50-50 good and bad. He said, I want to make billions of dollars, and the Lord of Hell said, okay, but it's going to be a real mixed bag.
We're going to.
Just for eternity. It's just how it's going to be.
That is true, though. That's very true.
I want to play that Force Awakens video game again. That's the one, the Dark Souls one.
No, Jedi Fallen Order.
Fallen Order.
Force Awakens is episode 7. Jeez.
Oh, yeah. All right. Sorry.
Okay.
The one other movie, I did watch one that was like, I think it's an Amazon.
Yes, I saw it on there. I was curious about it.
It's a rom-com. It's Charlie Day and Jenny Slate, and it's just they got broken up with, and then they're trying to help each other get their boyfriend-girlfriend back. It's like do
they end up together?
5 minutes in, you know what's gonna happen.
Gosh.
But
who could have thought?
It's an easy watch. It's exactly what you expect. Yep. It's it's funny part. Like it's fine. It's good.
It was good.
Yeah.
I like a good rom-com.
I mean, when you... But
I feel like normally you make me watch bad ones.
Like what?
Like Hallmark trash.
Oh, well, that's Christmas time. You have to watch the trash.
That's the only time you sit me down to watch something and it's garbage.
Well, that's because if I have to watch the garbage, you have to watch the garbage. Like, I don't see what you don't understand. Okay, here is the moment when I'm going to say my thoughts on the... What was it? Spider-Man... No Way Home?
Spider-Man Force Unleashed.
No, what is the last one? Is it No Way Home? Okay, so if you haven't seen it,
it's been out for
don't
7 or 8 weeks.
Feel like you have to have known by now. But skip ahead if you don't want to hear stuff.
Okay.
So if you want no spoilers.
No spoilers whatsoever. So I feel like even if you haven't seen it, you kind of know bad guys come from one universe and they all come into this one. Multiple Spider-Men, men.
Jump ahead a couple minutes.
Spider-Man.
All that.
No, you said it right with an I.
Spider-Man.
So all that happens, they're like sending the people back to their universes, right? All this stuff happens. Now, how I think it should have ended is at the very end, when Tom Holland, Peter Parker, is like sitting in his house, it should have ended with a knock at the door. And when he opens it, it is, what's her name? Why can't I think right now?
Emma Stone?
It is, but what is her?
Gwen Stacy.
It is her.
It's Emma Stone as Gwen Stacy.
She has gotten to that universe, and she's like, I'm looking for Peter Parker because she saw his name, but looking for her Peter Parker.
Yes.
That's kind of
cool. And it should have ended with that, where now she's alive, because all the bad guys were dead in their universe. How come they got back, but she didn't?
Every bad guy that died and knew who Peter Parker was Spider-Man came back. What about Gwen Stacy, who died and knew who Peter Parker was?
So why
didn't she come back?
What if she was unstuck in the wrong universe, but then now the Tom Holland Peter Parker has to help her get back to hers to find her Spider-Man?
And then we get our Andrew Garfield finished trilogy.
And then we can connect into that one.
It's them trying to get her back to the Andrew Garfield universe.
Yeah. Why was this not done?
See, what I hate when somebody comes up with a good idea like this of a thing that never happened and never will.
And never will.
And it's not going to.
Yeah.
And in my mind, I think it's real. Like, I think that I can picture this ending so vividly in my mind.
Especially at the end when it's like and he opens it, and it's just her being like, I'm looking for Peter Parker.
It shows the back of her hair. You don't even need Emma Stone on set.
Exactly.
You just need
You could show her ponytail.
Hair.
You can see it, and you can see his face of being like, oh, shit.
Wouldn't it be so good
black.
If it is, like you said, Ken, the blonde hair, but then she turns, and it's actually Emma Stone, and she's like,
sweet.
I'm looking for Peter Parker. But it's Tom Holland standing there, and you're like, and then it cuts. That's the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Oh, this is canon to me. I feel like this happened.
Tell someone.
It's just like when we were talking about the Star Wars, the Rise of Skywalker or whatever.
Okay.
And we're like, when they're fighting, when Rey and Kylo Ren are fighting on the Death Star, and he's like clearly winning the lightsaber battle. She should just lightning him like she did earlier.
Yeah.
But like actually show like there is a question of whether she's a good or a bad guy. She should have lightninged Kylo Ren right then.
Yeah, same thing.
Yeah.
That to me, that's just as real as this, as Emma Stone turning around to Tom Holland being like, I'm looking for Peter Parker. Like, I want that. Why didn't it end
I'm sure we've talked about this. There is a script of a different director's episode 9, and it's called Duel of the Fates.
Yes.
Whoever they originally hired to make episode 9, his script is out there. There's concept art. It is infinitely better than episode 9, and it is canon in my head. The whole thing.
That makes me so sad.
They battle. She has a double-bladed lightsaber.
Cool.
Ghost Luke teaches Rey. You know, what's his name? Kylo goes and he talks to Ghost Anakin, and Anakin tries to convince him not to do it. Doesn't buy it. They show down. Hux kills himself. Like,
this sounds awesome.
Yeah, so much better.
It's insane. Like they fight on Coruscant.
This is so badass. It's just
I spoke for 20 seconds, and that movie was better than
right. It's already better. It's just like I saw a video where they we're talking about a recut of the movie The Passenger with
I was going to mention this.
That's awesome.
This one, yes. This is a major one.
And I've never seen that movie. I'm so sorry that you had to watch it. But
it actually wasn't that bad, but once we heard this, I was like, well,
it's a totally good movie until you hear how it could have been, right? So you because when you watch the normal movie, Chris Pratt is awoken from sleep,
like a hypersleep or whatever. It was supposed to be like a 200-year sleep to a new planet.
He's for a long time, he's by himself, kind of going crazy, but you have all this time to sort of warm up to him as this good guy character. So when he makes this decision to wake up somebody else,
because he's desperate,
you empathize with them, and then it's sort of their story for the rest of it. And I just love the idea of the recut of the movie starts with him waking somebody, it's
with her waking up and not knowing how she woke up.
He's also awake, and he's like, I don't know how I got here. And over the course of the movie, you find out. He's been awake.
Yeah.
He's the one who woke her up.
And he woke her up.
Right.
He's the bad guy.
Well, because the crux of that movie is that he woke her up too early, where they will never get to where they're going. They will both die.
They will have to live on that spaceship.
The two of them together are the only people they'll ever meet.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they will die there because they don't reach the planet for another 100-something years or whatever it was they were supposed to leave for. Did you hear that whistle?
It made the idea of it go from this sad romance to this thriller of wait, did he wake her up?
And it still would have been the romance part where you're did he truly love her for this whole thing? It still would have done all this.
You can go through all that romance, and then she finds out that he woke her up on purpose.
Right.
And then it becomes
and you're oh no.
And during the romance, you can
should you like him? Should you not?
Knows something.
Exactly.
Oh man.
Would have been so much better.
All these things we were talking about, this is canon in my mind.
Yeah.
But that makes me sad that it's not real. I don't know.
Well, somebody will make a better version of it, hopefully.
If somebody listens to this and they would like to use my idea, you can go for it.
Contact Ben.
I'm going to be right back here. Old Deuteronomy.
Have a care.
Man, when does Cats 2 come out?
For old Deuteronomy.
Look at how dead I look. All right. Sorry about that.
All right, we're back from our break. Guys, let's have a quick chat here. Maybe quick, maybe not so quick. Whatever we get into. But, it is video game season. The winter continues. It's video game time. We have been playing some video games. Actually, Emily and I did play a new video game on Valentine's Day.
Ooh.
We played a game called Moving Out. So this is similar to Overcooked, if anybody's familiar with that, which is you're getting food orders and you're having to make them through various steps. This is
cooperatively, right?
Yeah, cooperatively. Yes. So this one you're cooperatively trying to move this stuff inside in a house into a truck. But there's some stuff you can carry by yourself, and there's some stuff you can't, and you need to work together to throw a couch out the window or whatever. It doesn't have the depth of Overcooked of we need to do this to wash this has to be cooked to do this run these stations and I'll do this.
I don't know if it's going to get to that. We only played a few.
It's definitely wild and crazy fun though.
It's really fun. It's goofy. It's like if you had to move around claymation people, the way they move is not it's not super straightforward.
Sorry, we bought it as well. We played it.
Okay.
They run with sort of exaggerated momentum, right? Where even though you stop, they sort of keep going, and The couch is really heavy and it's bouncing off of every single hallway.
It is fun when
the hallways are like.
Oh man, you are bouncing off the hallway.
It is what it's funny. It has a novelty at first of like you've tried to move a couch that's too big through a hall that turns, and you're like, we can't quite get it around this corner, and you run into that, or you like come at a doorway and you need to turn. It needs to be turned to fit through the doorway, and you come at it and it doesn't fit.
It is like, realistic of that, like you have big furniture and you think it's going to go around the corner and it catches and you like hit the wall. Yeah. Like it's
you come at the table instead of on the short end of the table, you're at the long end, and the guy's arms are like as you've been in that situation where you're like, I am holding this with my fingertips and it's not going to last much longer. Like
Yeah, when they like carry big chairs, they like drag them. There's drag marks like throughout the house from you doing that. I really enjoy that.
There's just something so goofy about like, okay, I'm going to get on this side and you get on that side, and we're going to throw this couch through this window.
Yeah, and then from there we'll put it on the, it's really fun. I like
silly, simple fun. Yeah.
Yeah. That was really fun though. But then we also, all together, have been playing Gloomhaven.
Yes. If you are only listening to the audio version of this podcast and want to see a video version of it, go check out our YouTube. But the other thing you can find on YouTube is recorded playthroughs of our Gloomhaven Digital campaign, which we live stream to Twitch and YouTube when on no normal schedule. Whenever we were going to play, we just live stream it when we're going to play, and we try to do a small Instagram stories announcement. But I'm like obsessed with Gloomhaven Digital.
You are. Like you keep saying, I haven't watched any TV. That's because if you get a free moment, you're like playing Gloomhaven.
I know. I've played like.
Wow, do you want to admit this?
A lot of Gloomhaven Digital. Well, we have our campaign that we play together, and we have 2 victories in a row now. I think we have a lot of positive momentum.
Yes.
When we play, though, sorry, I'm yawning.
Oh, go ahead.
I don't know why I started to talk during the
Good thinking. Perfect timing.
Perfect timing for a podcast. I'm the Spellweaver. Ken is the Scoundrel.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Ben was playing the Brute, and why can't I think
Tinkerer.
of anything tonight? Tinkerer. But then we had Ryan from the Gamecasters joining us. And what is his?
He is the Craighart.
Okay. So we have kind of that different combination and whatnot, but we have a pretty good little team.
Yeah.
It's good to go.
It's definitely, I think it'll get like really crazy when somebody retires and we start unlocking classes we've never seen before. You know, if we think about our tabletop experience, we made it about 20 plays in. We were about, 15 to 20 missions in. And we had just started to retire people and unlock some new classes. And we're not quite there in our digital playthrough. I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's going to be very exciting when we start to unlock some classes nobody's ever seen before. As far as like the story and the missions and stuff, it's whatever. Like most.
Ouch.
No, but that's the thing. Like most RPGs, fantasy RPG games or whatever, are about the progression of the story. Mm-hmm. And your power ramps up and the story's difficulty ramps up, or you continually start to face bigger and bigger baddies. Gloomhaven is not like that. Each mission is its own little puzzle. But it scales to your party's level, and the missions are the missions. You could play them in any order, and the only thing that you would mess up is that you wouldn't hear the story in the right order. And the story is whatever. It's a couple of paragraphs at the beginning of a mission and a couple paragraphs at the end. It's fine. Each mission is a puzzle that was designed to be solved. And the fun of the game is playing your classes, leveling up your characters, retiring them, and unlocking new classes that then give you different ways to have to solve the puzzles. Mm-hmm. Yep. So I'm really looking forward to our group getting to some of these other characters and trying out them, especially characters I've never seen before. In my own
That's true.
Personal, because I have also been playing a personal campaign through the game. That's kind of been the fun. I'm on a complete second round of characters. So like I had 4, everybody's retired. I'm on a complete second round of new people, and I just had one of them retire. And I am now on on sort of a new class I had never seen before. That's very interesting.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So that's been the fun of like, how do I do this now that I have this character that plays a completely different role? Like, you know, spoilers for the Gloomhaven board game, I guess. I won't say too much, but there is a class that is a bard class that just does buffs. And they can have a song active that is buffing the party in some way. And then they don't really have attack cards. They just have cards that do stun, cards that do curse, cards that do like immobilize or disarm and wound. So essentially they buff the party and then play cards that like stun a group of enemies so they don't attack. And then play a bunch of curses. You know, there's like a cool one that's like move 3, do a curse to an enemy within 3. So the enemies are never dealing damage. Your party's buffed, but you don't actually ever attack.
You don't do any, yeah.
There's all kinds of weird stuff like that. Like there's so many characters. I have not spoiled the game for myself. You know, I haven't gone and like opened up the box and looked at all the characters, classes, and what they all do and all that kind of stuff.
That's
so
true.
Every time I unlock a new one, it's very exciting. And I can't wait till we start doing that as a group.
Nice.
Sounds good.
The only tough thing is Gloomhaven is hard. You know, It takes an hour and a half to play a mission.
That is true.
And you only win half the time. You know, so
we do better than that. We had a bad run on one mission.
Yeah, I would say like maybe I'm just particularly bad, but based on my personal experience, you win about half the time.
You think so?
Yeah, you don't necessarily like move up quickly.
Because a lot of like some of the missions are just tough, and you're just like you play it, and you're like, oh, now I need to see what I would have had to have done to solve that puzzle.
Yeah,
and then you play it again. You know, some of them are particularly hard, where you have to build out your characters. Like you have to actually switch your cards out to be able to accomplish certain tasks.
Yes. Yeah.
But those are fewer and farther between. I don't know. Is there anything you guys want to say about Gloomhaven?
I don't know.
No, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's fun.
If you've got people to play with, do it. I mean,
yeah, I would definitely try this version over the tabletop.
we got sort of burned out on 6 months of Gloomhaven nonstop on the tabletop a couple of years ago. I don't know how many times we played, but it was a lot.
It was like 20, 22.
Yeah, in the 20s.
Like that.
Quite a bit, yeah.
I think if you are in a situation where it's like, man, we like Gloomhaven, we tried it on the tabletop. It's just a lot. It's just a lot on the table. This is it with leaned down, faster. I mean, it's just a convenience thing more than anything.
Oh, yeah.
The game is good. Straight out of the box, but it's much more accessible on a computer or whatever device you got to use it on.
I know I'm already like, well, I hope Frosthaven comes out digitally. Like,
yeah,
it's not. Yeah, I don't know.
It's a video game.
Yeah, I like it more.
It's a video game you're trying to play on the table.
Yeah, I like it better as a video game.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
This is, I will say, you know, like if we go back through my recent obsessions of I can't sleep because I'm trying to get a graphics card. I can't sleep because we're in a mini painting contest.
This is one of them?
I cannot sleep because I'm thinking about my next Gloomhaven mission or how to beat the one I just lost right before I had to go to bed. So
maybe you need to calm it down a little bit.
Well, it really, you know, I'm playing 4 characters, 4 relatively high level characters all by myself, and your mind is just like thinking.
Yeah.
It's such a complicated puzzle.
Yeah.
That when I try to go to bed, I'm just like still like
we dream about
figuring
that. That's the worst.
I wish it, and I would.
Yeah,
right.
No escape.
You know when that hits you every once in a while, like you played something new and it sticks in your mind, or you played Rainbow Six until midnight and now you can't sleep because you're pumped full of adrenaline. It's like worse than that. It's like every night, even if I didn't play, because I'm just like I just can't stop thinking about it. It's there's something wrong.
Why don't we take a break? Jeez.
I feel like we all
this is a cry for help.
Yeah.
Right. It's a major issue.
All right. Well, what else are you guys playing?
Well, speaking of mechanics that work much better in a video game than on the tabletop, I've been playing a roguelike deck builder on Steam. It's a demo. It's called Jupiter Moon's Mecha. I don't know what the name's about. You can get the demo. It is right now it's a roguelike. I think they're going to add a campaign where you don't have roguelike elements. Okay. But the basic premise is you are a mech or a big robot, right? And your deck are your attacks and your heals and your this and your that. And the demo presents you with a sort of 3 battle arrangement. The last one, there's a boss. And then because it's a roguelike right now, you keep going. So you're playing cards to attack. You're playing cards to heal. You're playing cards to dissipate heat because everything warms your mech up and you can't overheat. So this is so your deck's right in front of you. And what's interesting about this, and the reason I say I don't think it would work on the tabletop, you can see on right there, you see how you have 6 parts of your body?
Yeah.
Arms, legs, head, torso. The cards in your deck are based on the loot that you get at the end of the game or each run. Let's say you pick up a big plasma cannon, and the big plasma cannon has 3 cards associated with it. The plasma cannon, has to fit into your inventory, which it's not showing right here.
Okay.
So you have a physical limit on which loot you can use, which dictates your deck. And then you dick. And then during gameplay, the attacks that the enemies make are randomized against your body parts.
Like right
if your body part is damaged or destroyed, you lose those cards from your deck. Based on the loot you put there. So that's why I say it wouldn't work on a tabletop because you're managing way too many
a lot,
cards and systems. And so this is it. So this is your inventory. On the left there. On the left there is what's actually equipped to your mech. And it dictates what cards you have in your deck. If they destroy your left arm, you lose the cards associated with that weapon you have equipped there.
Yeah, that would be a lot.
Wow. Yeah.
I mean, you could do it, but it would be a lot.
It's really cool. I think it's really cool. And each attack creates heat, which you're perpetually trying to manage and dissipate. You have health and armor. And because it's a roguelike, you have to heal or pay to repair at the end of each encounter. Highly recommend you get the demo. It's free.
Oh, it's free.
I don't know when the game comes out. It's pretty simple, but I think it's got really strong core mechanics.
Is it a roguelike or a roguelite?
Roguelike.
Okay.
So if you die right now, the game as it is right now, if you die, you lose your deck and you restart.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool bosses.
I'm going to have to try that out.
I really like it.
It's like a more complex kind of Slay the Spire vibes I'm getting, but
I never played it, but I mean, I know that's a hugely popular,
very good digital deck builder.
Yeah.
Cool. Now I want to go do that. Let's wrap this up. I got video games I got to play.
Well, since you say it, it only takes about 5 minutes per encounter, and there's 3 encounters per round. So it only takes about 15 minutes before you have a chance to, I guess, pause, essentially. And you get loot at the end of each encounter.
That's awesome.
Yeah, highly recommend it.
Dang.
Ben, did you want to talk about the last one?
It's the last one.
Oh, well, Ken had written down Total War Warhammer 3.
Oh,
I ripped it off because I haven't played anything yet.
All right.
Oh, okay.
We'll get that. We'll get on that next time.
I can't tell whose colors are what with black and white
it's
printer,
printed in
so
black
I
and
wasn't
white.
sure.
All right. You know what that means. It is time for our favorite part of the show, everyone's favorite part of the show, the Would You Rathers.
Am I supposed to have one prepared?
Always. Let me find some good Would You Rather music. Rock. How about rock? It is time for some wood you rather.
It's not.
Sorry, this is the best of StreamYard offers
What's night
for
driving?
night driving. Here, what do we have for night driving here?
Oh, this is like how to fall asleep at the wheel.
This is perfect would you rather music.
Is it?
All right. I typically start, so Emily, could you start us off here with a would you rather?
I thought you were like, so I'll start. And then, okay, that was weird. I have 2, so I'll do this one. Would you rather glow pink if you're attracted to someone, or glow red if someone annoys you? Like everyone can see.
Well, I would just be pink and red all the time, everywhere.
But what would you rather?
Attracted
I'm
to
gonna assume that everyone knows what it means too.
Oh, yeah, that would make sense.
I think I would rather. I would just be red at all times.
Would you? I'd be pink.
I'm serious. I'd be red and pink all the time. Everyone, I don't really care for you, but
I don't really want to broadcast when somebody's annoying me. Like I feel like that causes problems. I feel if this is a nonverbal way for me to tell somebody I think they're attractive, so be it. Whatever. Like fine by me. Like
it's not rocket science.
Yeah, like you could already tell. Everybody knows.
Yeah. I guess we all know that you guys are attracted to everyone at all times.
Well, I tell you what, I
true.
spend 99% of my time in the house with you, so I would be pink all the time.
And I'd be red all the time since we're
God damn it, Em.
Wait, let me do the other one really quick, just because I had to.
That one was too easy to answer, you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
My other one is, would you rather be in a real-life situation of Jurassic Park or zombie situation like The Walking Dead?
Like Jurassic Park.
I think I would also do that.
I feel like I could get overwhelmed by zombies, and we're back to
but not
hiding
dinosaurs?
in the. It's like, well, we're back. Do I want to be hunted or haunted? And
yeah, but I feel like zombies are also hunting.
Like, yes, exactly.
In a more
but the overwhelming numbers, I feel like the fact that it's like this endless horde with no end in sight.
Are you talking about zombies or dinosaurs?
Zombies. Okay. I feel like if you're trapped on
zombies quickly. People turn into more zombies.
You're trapped on Jurassic Park, but the dinosaurs have gotten loose. There is a finite number of dinosaurs at which you have to overcome.
Yeah, they're not like turning people into dinosaurs.
It's not like if you're in a zombie apocalypse, there's no end game. You're in a zombie apocalypse. Everybody's zombies. There's nowhere to get to.
It's like one of my biggest fears.
The dinosaur island, I just have to get off the island and I have safety to get to. It's the same way when I had to beat the Joyzy Devil, or she beat me. Like, however that goes, at least there's some fun at the end. So
some fun at the end. I agree.
I agree. The zombie thing is hopeless, whereas the Jurassic Park thing is like, well, I could take a good run at this. Probably get eaten.
I'd probably get eaten.
But also,
I got somewhere to go.
Don't eat me, so I have that on my side too.
Real good chance you could just hide for a while,
right?
I'm guessing. I don't know.
Whereas zombies, it's just, and they don't have any rational thinking. They're not like hunting you. They're just straight up like flailing their bodies at your house, trying to get in and kill you.
Plus, who the hell wants to get bit by human teeth?
Right? Ugh.
Hard pass.
I can't right now. I can't even, guys.
Yeah.
All right, I have one. I also have a bonus one. We'll do the bonus one first because it's just a quick answer. Which do you prefer, a squat, deadlift, or bench?
Are you kidding me right now? What's the difference?
What's the difference?
No difference.
Bench press.
There's no difference.
Deadlift
bench
or
is laying on your
barbell back squat.
What's the other one?
Deadlift, where you lift the weight off of the floor.
You just lift, but your arms are straight.
Yeah. Hopefully, yes.
Why? Hey, this is why I don't work out with you right here. I would go, what do I have to do? And you'd be like, are you kidding me right now? And what's the other one?
Squat. A barbell back squat. The bar is on your shoulders.
My back,
yeah.
and I have
You
to
squat down and stand up.
That's easy.
Yeah. But I like back squat lately.
I think I've been squatting. I like squat a lot lately, but I've always liked bench.
I don't like bench. I've never liked bench.
I like bench. You get to lay down. You know.
That's why I don't like it. That's why I don't like it though, because then it's like, well, I'll just hang out here for a little bit after. Fun, right? I gotta stay hot, stay up.
Someone's legit
stay awake.
Weight on your face.
Squat. I like squatting, but there's a lot of weight on your back. You know, there's a lot. That's a lot. You're just standing there, and you're like, you know what? This is a lot of weight. Same thing with deadlift. That's a lot. There's so much to pick up.
It's a lot, but I feel like that's so much easier
but deadlift,
on my body.
You know what? I like deadlift is nice because you don't have to start in the eccentric contraction. You just go up, right? Squat and bench, you have to lower it first.
Yeah.
And then push.
You got to load the spring.
Yeah. Deadlift is just push.
Yeah, that's true. And I do like deadlifts. I just wish it didn't hurt my hands so much.
My hands or my knees or my back or my neck
baby
or my
hands.
Or my
ripping up my little baby hands.
Yeah.
All right, here's my actual would you rather. Would you rather go to a party where you knew nobody?
Yes.
Or would you rather be forced to host a party where a bunch of people are going to come that you don't know?
Oh, fuck that. No.
Or would you rather host a party?
First one.
In my house.
Would you rather host a party for people, some people you might know, but a lot of people you don't, like whatever, or you have to go to a party and you're not going to know anybody there?
That one.
I feel like
go to the rando party.
Yeah, once you hit a certain age, if someone says you have to go to that party, I go, well, it's going to be weird, but I'll get a drink out of it. Whatever.
Yeah. It's true. That's it's if I am forced to sit at the bar counter, or I'm sitting at the island sipping on a drink and munching on chips for the party.
Sure, I guess
that's not as embarrassing as it used to be. Like I can do that.
Back in the day, I'd be like, well, what am I gonna do?
No
now I'd be like, I'll have a couple of chips.
Plus, I'd be like, hey, what's up, guys?
Yeah.
Wow.
What do you do?
Is that how you're gonna start
what up?
What do you do?
I don't mind the fact that I'm glowing pink and red right now. Just chilling.
But hosting a party, then you have to get them out of your house.
Oh, that's way like yeah. That's a young person, old person question.
Yes, it was. Are you old or young?
Yeah.
And I am old. I don't want you in my house. I want you to leave at a reasonable time, and I don't want to deal with that situation.
Hold on, I have to take some notes here in my Would You Rather book.
Yeah.
Don't host parties. Is that what you're gonna write quick? Don't invite random friends over.
All right. For the rest of your life.
Oh shit.
Would you either purchase or receive?
Would you either rather than would you rather?
Would you either? That classic game. Would you rather have only used underwear?
Oh shit.
Or used toothbrushes?
But are they used by other people?
Yes. Yes. I'm not talking about your toothbrush is one day old after you bought it.
Well, my underwear's pretty worn out. But it was used by me.
You'd probably go up in underwear then.
Used underwear.
Let me upgrade you. Or used toothbrushes.
Is it every day I get someone else's rando underwear?
Once a month you get a fresh pack or pair or whatever and a new toothbrush.
Gosh. Once you use the toothbrush once, it's your toothbrush.
Really? Oh,
like,
God.
I feel like you're splitting hairs there. How is that not also true about the underwear then?
You only have to.
You only have to. I'm gonna go with underwear because I
can.
But wait, I can't wash the underwear.
You gotta wear it once.
I think that is a part of it.
You gotta wear it once, and you gotta use the toothbrush at least once before you start. Let's just remove the cleaning altogether, which is difficult to imagine. But
I'm like really struggling here. I guess underwear.
Could you imagine a toothbrush?
I don't know.
A toothbrush is in somebody else's mouth, and then it's in yours.
I don't even like being 6 feet close to people, let alone a toothbrush they've
What
used.
About somebody else's underwear though? That they
I guess I'm hoping
they remove
that
at the end of the day, and then the next day you are forced to.
So
put
sort
on.
of like they wore a couple pairs of underwear for the month, threw them in the bin, and the bin gets dropped at your house. They brush their teeth with a toothbrush for a month.
I can't do the toothbrush.
Really?
I don't want to do the
I'm taking
underwear
the toothbrush.
either. Oh, really?
Yeah.
The only time the toothbrush was being used was when it was
brush
covered in
Clean
soap.
dirt off their teeth.
Yeah, it was like it was cleaning. It wasn't being dirtied.
I'm still
Well,
sorry.
that's-
Like,
you know,
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
I don't want to do either. It's not like I'm enjoying. I'm
I
not
don't-
like
I
handing
really-
the underwear. I hope
this
I
is
get a
I don't
shit
wanna
from
put
that.
somebody
Would you
else's-
either? Not. I don't want to do either.
I
don't
hate would you either.
I don't want to put
Yeah.
anybody else's toothbrush in my mouth.
Wow.
But
Well, you'll take them nasty drawers. Huh?
I don't want them nasty
I
drawers
don't
either.
want that either.
Well, good. Then this is a good would you rather.
This is a great would you either.
Did you guys give
Here's the
answers?
thing.
I'm
stumped?
taking underwear, I guess. I don't know. Am I?
We
I
have to
don't
stay
know.
on air forever until you guys.
I
have
just
an
feel
answer.
like if I get a month's worth of underwear that are all used, every time I put each pair on, I'm putting on a dirty pair of underwear.
But
Yep.
imagine
If-
meeting the person
If
after.
each
that
month
you
I get a new used toothbrush, but
Used
for the
Yeah.
is the key
is
word.
it each day the toothbrush has been pre-used? I get a new one every time
Let's
I brush
do
my
that,
teeth. I'm
'cause
using
that-
a used
Yeah.
toothbrush.
Oh,
It's
that
every
is-
day. Every day, new pair of drawers, new
That's messed
toothbrush.
up.
At no point in time are the drawers or the toothbrush ever previously
clean.
used by me.
For the rest of your life.
I am never.
This
I
is
am
worst
never the
question.
person who has used them previously.
That's
It is
right.
always
I hate
every time I
this.
brush my teeth and every time I put on underwear, they have been previously worn or
Yes.
brushed
you
by
cannot
somebody
get
else.
this concept, can you?
He's just
Like, you
talking
just
it
keep
out.
repeating the same thing,
Talking it through.
hoping it'll go
There's
away.
a person who lives above you who wears underwear and
They
brushes
put
their
it
teeth.
in a little thing
Right,
and it
it
shoots
goes in
down
a
to
chute
you.
at the end of the day. And
I don't
that's
know.
your-
Can I choose last? Here, you guys pick.
I don't know. I think it's horrible either way. I'm
still
going to say
going
underwear.
with toothbrush. I'm still going with toothbrush.
It's horrible. I don't like it.
I just feel like the underwear are so sweaty, or they could be. Like you're
Right.
gambling
I've
so much.
seen my
Like a
own
person's
underwear.
mouth can only be so dirty,
I
but a
don't know. Have
person's
you
I think
seen
you're
some
right.
person's
people's
drawers,
mouths,
like there is
though? I don't know about
there
that.
is
Oh, yeah, that's true.
a larger. You're
I think you're
gambling
hanging out with
higher.
clean mouth people. You haven't seen a
You could,
gross
but you
mouth
could
person.
definitely get like very clean underwear. You could
Yeah.
you could get very
you could get
very
some
dirty.
bad underwear.
Probably
you
much
could get some
much
bad
dirtier
underwear.
than the toothbrush ever would be. I will take the toothbrush.
That's correct
Okay,
answer.
I don't know. Sure. I'll just like. I'm gonna hate my day
Those
either way.
underwear
Just someone give me
could
something.
potentially be very dirty.
I've got pairs of my own underwear I wouldn't wear again. Let alone somebody
I'm
else's.
taking this answer. Oh, I don't know. They're both horrible. I give
All
up
right.
with this one.
What a stumper. Wow, I'm happy.
That
with
was a good one, Ken. That was a
the
good
worst. That was
Let's
All
go
right.
back to these athletic taper Levi's Flex men's jeans.
yes.
What is
Let's
up with
end
these
on a-
pictures? No, we don't have to.
one. All right. I shut off the music, and I
Wow,
think
is that the cue?
that's
Yeah.
the cue to
Everybody
tell
shut
us
up.
Pushing us out of the
that
studio.
this is the end of episode 39 of the Date Night Dice podcast. Go check us out on Twitch, where we play Gloomhaven, where we live stream the D-list movie reviews. We also have every podcast episode, every D-list movie review, every Gloomhaven stream. They're all up on the YouTube channel, so go look at Date Night Dice on YouTube. We're also members of the Gateway Network, which I
look
don't
at
know
me.
any more about it than that, so I'm going to leave it at that. And until next time, for everybody here at the Date Night Dice Studios,
Ooh.
I'm Ben, and whatever, and we'll see you next time.
Goodbye.
I don't like peeing my pants.